Future slightly downside here to start things off on a Tuesday morning. We're looking at big tech in a big way. A ton of analyst opinions coming off day number one of the WWDC event out on the West Coast for Apple yesterday. So many announcements, so many developments from that, including the AI side of things that has most of the attention. So we'll touch on that coming up. NASDAQ slightly lower, as I mentioned, to start things off so far this morning. Keep in mind, no real significant economic developments or economic data points to come this morning, but big day tomorrow, obviously. CPI this time tomorrow morning. And then Fed Chair Powell in the afternoon. So a lot to look forward to coming up on Wednesday. Yeah, you saw the cues there, a little bit downside. Apple kind of doing the same right now. But this entire list, basically, it's tough to see, I know, but this entire list is all analyst moves, essentially, for Apple coming off what happened yesterday. I mean, you can see very, very volatile. Basically, from 12 o'clock on yesterday was, this is a 15-minute chart. So the entire afternoon, what is it, 250, I guess, call it, worth of a range on Apple up and down as they continue to just bring new developments, new products, new software, and Apple Intelligence. How Apple of them.
Absolutely. You got to love the naming. I mean, come on. It was right on the nose. I was quite impressed. I went back and watched the full segment on Apple Intelligence, about 45 minutes towards the end of the stream yesterday. Looks very promising. I really liked how they focused on the upgrade cycle here. So if you want Apple Intelligence, you're going to have an M1 processor in your device.
Yeah.
And so the current iPhones, it's either the 15 Pro or the 16. So a bit of a forced upgrade there. Impressive. Yeah. Elon, obviously, with some comments, not very happy.
Yeah, I mentioned to you during lunchtime yesterday, Sam Altman, there was somebody who was tweeting that Sam Altman was in the crowd. And then, ta-da, ChatGPT 4.0 integration was announced for this as well. The one cool part, Ramin and I were sitting here yesterday watching this and listening to it. And the one cool part that I really thought was amazing was the simple fact that you can now use Siri on voice command. You know, say if you're having to go to the airport to pick somebody up, you can just ask Siri what time that person's flight lands. It'll check your email for you and then just give you the
context,
the time of the flight. Yeah, the context was amazing.
And the prioritization too. It knows like what message. Like so, if you have a meeting, for example, Brendo, and this new meeting that you're about to allow is going to conflict, it'll tell you, and it'll know on all your different apps that you use. Yeah. So I'm very impressed with it.
Yeah, voice command photo editing.
Yeah.
Voice command video as well. Just goes on and on and on. I think it'll take a few days at least, guys, or a little while here to understand entirely what this is going to include, but we're all going to have to wait until the fall to get our hands on it.
Y'all can wait. I'm not waiting because I'm a Google guy. I'm going to stay there. But don't tell any of this stuff to Elon. Elon was the one person that wasn't happy.
Elon's acting a fool.
No, but like at the end of the day, like they got Grok. So if you literally have a competitor, the fact that you would come out and not be happy with Apple partnering with OpenAI, even if he wasn't, had his own history with OpenAI, he still also has a competitor as well. So like, what exactly would you have wanted him to say? I think he would. I don't think it would have been glowing regardless. But at the end of the day, the one thing that was corrected by Apple, which I think was rightfully said, is just the first of many partnerships, and it's an opt-in kind of thing. So like there's so many different options when it comes to AI, and ultimately integrating 1, 2, 3, all of them is probably going to happen down the line. It just so happens that OpenAI is first. Let's be real about that for a second. So they're all probably going to get their due. I saw all of those reiterate this, maintains buy when you look at some of those upgrades and downgrades. I think for anybody that was bullish as Apple, I'm not an Apple user, but I'm an Apple buyer. I believe in the stock. I believe in the company. I'm just not one of their product users. So nothing changes for me. I mean, the price action being what it is, I still think they're going to be fantastic. I do wonder, just in the days and short term after the event, if you still aren't in a little bit of a pullback on the sell the news. But I think you hold this upward trend. Whether or not we get to 200 in a week or two or in a month is irrelevant to me, and I think irrelevant to anybody in the long term. Notwithstanding that, we got some really good levels to trade off of because of the event yesterday, the 192, that 195.96 for resistance. But I think if you if you liked Apple yesterday, you like them just as much. You can't possibly like them any less. You just have to watch out for like the short-term price action doesn't always have to match with your beliefs and sentiment. That's all.
Yeah, Apple is just a huge buy, and it's a huge buy for now, and it's a huge buy long term. I mean, I think, and the good thing about being a long life friend of Neil is I know when Neil's switching to Apple because I could just do some math. No, let me tell you what.
My family's been
Hold on.
Apple users
Hold
since the mid-'80s.
Hold on. I'm gonna put something out for you. I'm gonna put something out because I can't be proved wrong, nor could you be proved right till this happens. So wait. So I'd say the minute your daughter finally owns a phone, it will be an Apple product.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
I don't know, but what I'm saying is,
she can,
at that point, I believe you will switch.
I will not.
Okay.
No,
I believe you will.
I'll be dead honest. So like my family got our first home PC in like 1986, and it was an Apple machine.
But your daughter's different. Your daughter's gonna change you.
I grew up using an Apple machine. Everybody I knew was on PCs, and I've been using Apple since I was a kid. But the phone, I just like Android better. It is what it is. My brother, my mother, my father, my aunts, my uncles, literally everybody except for me is an Apple user.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like that. Like I like what I like, and I will never be a crowd follower when it comes to that. Like,
you will follow your daughter.
When I have one,
is my prediction.
But I was constantly using them and just like, you know what? Everyone's like, it's so intuitive. I'm like, it's not more intuitive to me. When I got my hands on the Pixel, I love my BlackBerry. When I got my hands on the Pixel, I was like, this actually, I'm enjoying it more. But when I was using everybody else's iPhones, I'm like, no, not really. So I'm just.
So I switched.
I feel you gotta
so
be,
they're exactly the same phone. It's just I think you will want to be in that spot with her. That's a prediction, and I think in 5 years or whenever it happens, I think I'll be.
I'll eat a
right.
pineapple pizza, a whole pineapple pizza the day I have one in my pocket.
You'll be so happy you have an iPhone. You will then love pineapple pizza. I agree with that statement as well. Okay, look, I just think it's a monster move for Apple, honestly, and I mean I sit here and I talk to Ramin. This is why I'm talking about the younger generation. Everyone is going to love this Apple Intelligence. And it's just one of the things now that everyone, the minute someone sees it, someone else is going to want it. And that's part of what Apple does. And honestly, now the fact that they've built in, because right now, most of the world doesn't use AI. No one's using Perplexity or anything like that. Sure, it's in Copilot and it's great on the enterprise side of things, but generally speaking, the world's population is not even like 1 or 2%, maybe at most, is even using an AI product. Now all of a sudden, you have the world's largest install base that's going to be using AI lightning quick in absolutely everything that they do. This is a game changer for Apple. It's a game changer for the business. And it's just going to get bigger and badder. And I believe it's true for Google. I believe it's true for all of these guys. I mean, I am like just more in love with the NASDAQ today than I was yesterday. So let's just keep it going here. 8:38. Who do we have? Do we have anybody coming through today?
Well, unless Jeff shows.
Oh, Jeff.
Do we have Jeff?
No? Oh, good. Okay. All right. Back over to the desk.
All right, let's touch on crypto here a little bit. Downside we go for Bitcoin. 1 week low coming into play right now. We're back to 66,500 on BTC this morning. There's no real significant reason for this, but of course we're seeing all things equity related to the downside as well. I was reading late last night the inflows data from some of the ETFs for last week was a little bit different. It was the iBit? No, it was the iShares ETF that had jumped above the BlackRock one, which was typically the one that was getting the most of it, but they're still selling Grayscale as well.
They are. Yep, I'll get to that in one sec. Great point there. With respect to the crypto volatility, there is some data here between CPI weeks and Fed weeks and crypto volatility. So a lot of this is being made as, possible selling off here with possibly another high CPI print. There's been negative correlation between higher CPI prints and the crypto price. When we get a higher print, crypto typically sells off. So make sure you're joining us for that CPI print on Wednesday at 8:30. With respect to outflows, Brendo, the first net outflow of Bitcoin from spot ETFs in 19 days occurred yesterday with about $65 million flowing out of those. Yeah. Grayscale also experienced about $40 million outflow.
Yeah, we'll see what Mr. Powell has to say coming up on Wednesday. Some housekeeping as well. Frank, 3:30 this afternoon, not 2:45. So Make sure you're with us this afternoon. We'll tee that big day coming up tomorrow up with him.
There you go. I was going to say, Frank at 3. So here's the question. If Frank comes on at 3:30. Like, what do we... So we have to wait for the rally until 3:30. That always happens.
Oh, by the way, Danielle yesterday rallied the market huge. So the theory of who the guest is...
It's a time of day.
this is probably a time of day thing.
Maybe it's a power hour thing. Oh, maybe that's why they call it power hour. No word of a lie. There was a trader on our floor. You remember this. It was... I want to say it was the late 2000s when we had a trader on our floor who was completely convinced of, and he called it the GE buyer, but really it was just power hour in the market. He's like, there's a buyer that comes into General Electric, and this is like 20 years ago or 15 years ago. Yeah. He's like, there's a GE buyer, and it comes in at 3 o'clock. It was really just that the market would catch a bid a lot of times in the afternoon, and if the market's generally going upside, think about it. If the market generally goes up, and if there's added liquidity and excitement going into the close, then 7 times out of 10 or whatever it works out to, you'd find some buyers, and that's all it ever was. But overall, I mean, this is a super strong market. Like, Frank will come on here, and I think it's an important time to talk to him. We're not going to get any big changes from the Fed. We want to hear what they have to say. We get some inflation data tomorrow, so that's going to start to matter again when you get out of earnings season. I don't want to. We talk so much about Apple and NVIDIA, and I know we're going to go to crypto in a second, but I just want to remind myself out loud that Meta has been doing things, and I feel like it gets forgotten every single day. We were just talking about WhatsApp, actually. So Meta has a double top to potentially break today. If the market's going to be bullish, I know we're red, but this 503 on Meta, if it takes it out, Meta could go flying. We've been mentioning Meta finally back through the 50 period. I kind of felt like this is the next of the big mega cap tech names to get to its high. I'm counting as Apple. I'm discounting. I'm basically saying Apple got there. I know it didn't technically get there, but close enough. I think Meta is the next one that has a shot to get there. It's still about $20 away, maybe a little bit more than that, but it's got the nice trajectory. It's held and consolidated above that 50 period. If there's a dip today, I don't know if we get to the 490 level, which was the previous dip support. But if we do, then I'm on the bid there.
Yeah, no, I was just going to look at Bitcoin because I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't know if there was a story here today. I haven't been digging into it. So I just looked down and I was like, Bitcoin here, chilling out at 67,000. And this was a level that I know I've looked at before because every time I try to find some support for this name, it keeps coming up here. So 66, 67, we've held it all the way back, just back 2-3 weeks here before we break it now. It looks like we're trying to get lower on this. So yeah, I don't know, just a couple bad days here in a row. And if we lose the NASDAQ a little bit, we know that Bitcoin and NASDAQ have sort of been tied at the hip sometimes with their moves back up and down. You can go to the October bottom, which is over here somewhere. And then you had the night, there's October bottom. But again, that rallied the NASDAQ, and then you saw crypto go from 26 to 74. And then now the NASDAQ and Apple, and just like Neil was just pointing out there, a lot Meta and some different stocks have topped out now a couple minutes over the last 6 months. So, I mean, this looks to me like potential tops. And again, I sort of called Michael Noss out on this the other day because he said up here that crypto was one of the best looking charts out there. So, right now it's failed. So it has failed that breakout. So again, it's not to say that you're stuck long. I mean, again, depending on your style of trade, if it doesn't break past this 72,000, maybe you get out if it takes 70 and then you're a small hit. But right now, I would almost say it almost looks the other way around here, as we discussed yesterday, as Michael discussed as well yesterday on the stream. So looked good for a breakout. Turning around right now is BTC. So we'll check back on that. And then I do have the price down here throughout the day. And then obviously on ETHE as well, as we mentioned, possibly having Jeff Mendel come through. Ethereum Trust, still a big traded name over there on the OTC markets. And that's down to 3,500 right now and trying to go lower as well. So we'll have to wait to see here for Ethereum and Bitcoin today, as the NASDAQ giving back a little bit, but only 1/4 of a point. So.
All right, let's talk about a couple other things here. I was just keeping an eye on Spotify. There was a price increase that was announced this morning. Hasn't really done much since. Initial move from 310 up to 318, bit of a pullback to 315. I mean, it's a opt-in, let's be honest, price increase where it's going to be a extra tier on top of everything else you're paying that'll give you, I was reading, access to better quality audio, and then tools they were saying to create playlists and things of that nature. But $5 more. I don't know.
The audio quality is just fine, Brendo.
Yeah.
I've got it. I have a premium subscription. It's fine. Look, you can already adjust the audio quality in there to kind of save space on your device if you want lower quality. I guess they're going to offer something much higher, maybe higher fidelity.
Yeah.
Likely it's going to be about $5 a month, as you mentioned. The new tier will be offered as an add-on for existing customers. So that's coming vis-a-vis Bloomberg. Nothing really market moving.
It seems like it's a bit of a stretch.
A little bit.
I don't know how many people would just say, hey, take $5 more.
Thank you.
I'm good. I'm good.
By the way, the fail was not by me, the old head. It was actually Ramin, I think, that hit the fail for that $5. At some point, like, how good does it need to be? I think you come to, like, there's always, from a quality standpoint, visually, audio, whatever it happens to be, they actually were looking at movies, and when you had too much sharpness, if the picture was too clear, too perfect, it actually felt less real, and people don't enjoy it as much because the world doesn't look it doesn't look that good to anybody. And I kind of feel the same way. Like, it just doesn't. Well, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, Spotify, great stock, great trend. Like, I was just pointing out the Meta chart, and rightfully someone said, "Look at the trend line on Meta. Look at the trend line on Spotify." I'm not going to bother drawing it to you because the 50 period does such a good job of epitomizing what's been going on with this stock. And I think for names like this, the 1,200, check that 12,000 pre-market, doesn't do a ton of volume, maybe not a big day trading stock. Your best opportunities when you are trading this are simple things like it bounces, the day that it bounces off the 50 period moving average, it's a long the next day. I mean, that's held. You haven't had too many times that it's actually tagged the 50 period, but if you look at what's been happening when it does make that little bit of a tag, that'd be $300. I don't think you're really trading this off of that news today, but if it does get to 300, that's your 50 period. It's bounced off it every single time. I think that's what was so concerning when you looked at that Bitcoin chart, right? Like, you want things in an upward trend. It's great when they're testing the level. It's better when they've bounced off the level. You're like, okay, we're back on board. We're back resuming the trend because you've bounced off the level. Let's go back to the high. When you're actually at the precipice, like Tesla is right now, of that 50 period, like, you don't get the warm and fuzzies. It's great that it's holding the support level, but you kind of feel a little bit, scared's not the word, but you're cautious that if you lose it, it could get nasty. And when something is cleanly bouncing off it like Spotify is, you know the trend is pretty secure, but I don't see a trade with it because the volume's not high enough.
I was going to say about Spotify, like, I sold this name, so I'm out of it. I bought this one on the direct list, and I think it was 150, and we just got out of it, like, right into here when it was around 300, 309, 305, something like that on this bump up, and then I think it was right in and around, it wasn't too long ago, it was probably in and around here, 303, 304, when it was kept bouncing off these highs, and now we continue to go higher. So looks like selling Spotify was incorrect, but it looks like buying Eli Lilly was very, very correct. Because, if you have too many chicken dinner winners, then you can get Ozempic, apparently, and that's exactly what's been happening right here. Up to $900 goes this name, and it's going to just keep going. I mean, this was just... like, we had just bought it right down here. It was probably with some of that Spotify money, now that I look at sort of the timing of all this. But, we talked about this. We posted this out. It was on one of our old podcasts. We gave this as the earnings play that I liked in this quarter anyways, as far as just names other than tech. And Eli Lilly now going to breach that trillion. This has been quite the stock. We had first bought it way back when, and then now you get Alzheimer drug approval there yesterday. We had that note for you on the show, and Eli Lilly continues to be up now another 2%. Really love the stock. I mean, I am way too diversified in my holdings, but at the same time, if I didn't have that mentality, I probably wouldn't have a winner on like Eli Lilly. But I also want to make sure that I get other names, and I'm looking at something like a Home Depot right now that's been beat up a little bit. I was talking about Caterpillar that's been beat up just a bit with the industrials. Look at this push back down in for Home Depot. Like, is this not a good level on the daily right here, 325 and change? I mean, the more people come through for higher mortgage rates until that gets all figured out. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of home improvement. Obviously, that's not baked into the stock yet. I really like Home Depot here, cyclical name. Could get going back into the summertime, could have a big quarter. I like Home Depot. And then we've also talked a little bit about Caterpillar and how that's been beat up again. Another name that does benefit from AI, and there's been a little bit of worry here as we potentially face, I don't want to say a recession, but a global slowdown, I think is what people are a little concerned about with names like Caterpillar and John Deere and things like that. So yeah, a couple good opportunities to come through there. We'll talk a lot about big ideas on the show as well as small trades that we'll make throughout the day, but those are a couple long-term positions.
Before we go back, if you like Eli Lilly now, I haven't seen the new South Park, but I saw some clips from it.
Oh yeah?
No, basically it's like, what if, it's like a GLP comes to South Park, essentially, and like eliminates obesity. I've only seen a few clips of it.
There you go.
But that's your reason to buy Eli Lilly enough.
So Cartman gets a little light?
I've only seen like one little clip, but obviously Cartman, as you could imagine, benefits.
I haven't seen South Park in a minute because I don't think it's here in Canada. You have to have Paramount Plus.
Yeah, you got to have Paramount Plus. It's frustrating unless you do the illegal thing like Brennan.
Brendan does illegal cable stuff?
Huh?
Oh wow. Okay.
I didn't say that. Who said that?
I thought you said it.
No.
Oh no,
Somebody else
said
said that. I didn't say it.
No. Brendan pays for everything, man. That's what we do. But no, I would love to get Paramount Plus. So I might join that black market. You know what I'm saying?
Great show.
You know who's back? Guess who's back? Back again. Fabian is back. And of course, Adara's back, and she's over there at the screen with our upgrades and downgrades.
Nice list here on both the upgrade and the downgrade side. Lots of names to talk about, including Apple with this upgrade here from D.A. Davidson after day one of its WWDC event. We do have AT&T getting this upgrade here from Exane BNP Paribas. Shopify with an upgrade from Morgan Chase, and another retail name here to end off the list, ONON, that's going to be On Holdings, getting this upgrade from Bernstein, trading slightly higher on the day. On the downgrade side, huge earnings name later this week. That's going to be Broadcom AVGO getting this downgrade from Citigroup. Cliff's getting a downgrade here from JP Morgan Chase. Another Exane BNP Paribas downgrade, this time for Comcast, down about 1% in the pre-market. And last but not least, Squarespace getting downgraded by B. Riley Securities. Quite a few interesting names here, guys.
Citigroup there, I don't always slap downgrades, but when I do, I make sure that stocks are at all-time highs going into earnings. And that's a bold one, Colin. The way this earnings season has gone, I suppose it would make some sense. I mean, Broadcom has been absolutely flying going into their report, which will be tomorrow after the bell. That's the big one this week. I guess we also get Oracle, but the big one this week is probably Broadcom, and we'll see. I mean, it's been an interesting top up here, 14 and a half. This is a weekly chart, by the way, as you can see with a big W. So it's run into a lot of resistance up here, and I do think it could be getting a little bit heavy. Sometimes when that happens, it's a little difficult for a stock to punch through because expectations are sky high for this name. Shopify, just going to point out that it hasn't had a red day in a while. So I'm not counting. I think it's like 10. It might be 11. You guys can probably count it yourself. I'm just eyeballing it there. But the breakout is still going. Maybe it'll stop at the 50 period moving average, which is $66. None of the moves have been it hasn't done anything insanely stupid. Like yesterday was a big move, but other than that, most of the days are just pretty calm and collected in an upward trend for it. And usually, you get a move like this. It seemed like the next step is usually a consolidation. Like the last time I had a big day, you dip right into the previous top and then went back to the highs. So something like that could happen in this uptrend again for spot. Controlled move to the next level, which should be 66 on the chart.
So I was just looking here. So this is from, I just went into the email here. This is from May 28th. Where we said right here, the trade of the week from Sean, watch Shopify breaking 60 long. Okay, so that's May 28th. So Neil just did the work. So let's figure out what this bottom was right there. May 28th. I mean, I actually didn't know that it was May 28th down there, but that's it right there. So since we wrote that down as the trade idea, again, as Neil mentioned, 9 straight up days right there. So that was upgraded. It's starting to go, and it's been great. Will it continue? When you get a nice move like this, you are looking for a little bit of a pullback, I would say, if you're not long already. I would say you could get a pullback into $61 or $62, but there it is right there, time-stamped on our trade of the week back there from May. So, yeah, so far so good there for Shopify as it continues to make moves higher and higher. So good little look there. I really, really like the stock. I've been holding this forever and haven't sold it. So we really like Shopify here moving forward. And yeah, up to 63. I think we get to 70 before we pull back maybe. But yeah, I like Shopify. There's 70 here. 200 period plus a little bit of, sort of some support resistance there turned into resistance. We'll see what happens when it gets up there. But yeah, I like the stock.
Big day yesterday I saw a couple of people talking about Southwest. Once again, love a huge move on that Elliott note, $1.9 billion stake from Elliott declared in this one to $30. Not really doing anything here this morning, but worth a look. You just found an interesting note on some of the Chinese EVs. Not really doing anything either. That's XPeng, NIO, looking very similar. That new one, though, with earnings today.
Yeah, Zeekr up over 6%. Brendo still light on volume, about 45,000 shares, but keep your eye on ZK. Did report, and the market's liking what it has to offer right here. But there's another headline with respect to these Chinese EVs. The EU is preparing to unveil the potential tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles. There's been a lot made here about these subsidies coming in from the Chinese government, putting them on an unfair level playing field. So this week could be an interesting week for these Chinese EVs.
It's worth noting on that Eli Lilly as well. It was a review panel. Yeah. Just to clarify on that, it was a review panel, not a FDA actual approval, but that is the last step typically before they get full approval on those. We'll talk about GM coming up here in the headline on that. I just saw a Tesla pop up on a volume scanner there. Back downside here this morning. I mean, obviously, these comments from Elon not really going to affect the price at all, but some of the EVs guys moving around here so far.
Yeah, on the note of the Chinese EVs in particular, there was a hot moment or minute when I suppose it looked like NIO was going to go last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, off this $5 level. Well, the trend is undefeated, at least for now. We always use the term like flat bottom break, and I feel like it would be a little bit too extreme to use it here. But 465, if NIO loses 465, it's up 1% today. So, maybe we're bouncing off this level. But if we lose 465 in the stock, it just does not look fantastic for it. I'd be looking for shorts, maybe like 60 breaks to the downside on NIO. It's just one of those things where when you zoom it out and you have a trend that looks like this, your overwhelming thought, generally speaking, should be, okay, well, where is it a short when the trend is to the downside? And I've already sort of mentioned $6.50, $7. If it gets back above that price, I think then it looks a little bit more bullish. But, for now, good news or not, the next step could be this breaking down 465. If 460 is gone, then I think you're well enough underneath. I'd be looking shorts on NIO. It's a positive catalyst today, so the likelihood of it happening may be low, but we'll be watching this level until it does. I remember when NIO broke this flat bottom here at 7. You just had to wait a while for it. And once it did, look at the trend. Pretty clean. It was the same thing at $5.50. Only that went right away and was a short like every day for a month. So you just got to be careful. Just got to be patient. But the trend on some of these EV names, completely unbroken.
I was just saying, I'm just writing a sticky note, and I have GameStop on the sticky note. So we'll get to that in a couple minutes. I'm looking for a late day rally again in that stock, or a rally almost immediately today, and we'll talk about that when it comes through. I said today when I sat down here and was really super amped up about Apple and everything, and I said, because Neil brought this to my attention, I think yesterday it was, or when we were talking with Randy at least, and it was like, wow, have you seen GM lately? And then Ford, and I know I own GM shares. I don't own a whole heck of a lot of them, but I also know that I may be selling them. I know the chart looks great and it's starting to break up. Well, maybe we'll wait to see what happens in and around $50 if that is some sort of a pullback here. And I guess I should probably pull this way back to see where exactly some of these levels are, because it might not be worth selling right now because you don't want to sell your winners too early, but this has been a monster winner. I mean, I don't even like the story behind any cars really right now. I mean, we bought Rivian because it was so damn cheap down there at $11, I felt like, and that might even be expensive. But I don't really like GM. I don't really like Ford. I don't really like Tesla for the car business. I think it's a very competitive business. I think with the way the space where rates are right now, GM's done a fantastic job to sort of pump the hybrids and get those cars going through. And obviously there's a story here with the buyback and the profitability, and Mary Barra and company have done a fantastic job. It's just there's been a lot of buys down here into the 30s and $32 area because it was such great support. Now you're starting to break higher. I just worry about something around here, $50 possible break. But if you could get going, I mean, then, you know, maybe we do get back into the 60 level, high 50 level. So I don't necessarily want to sell this name immediately. But again, I don't think a stop order in and around 46, something like that, to at least capture some of this move before potentially retracing back into the low 40s might not be a horrible decision right there. So, I mean, I like the stock. GM continues to work, but I don't like it long term. I just think that if you're diversified, fine. I'm just not sure I love the car business right now. I prefer Tesla for the AI and what that could mean for robotaxi and for the maps and just for all of that, and then just what Tesla means with Elon and everything. So for me, GM is probably a sell up here, but it's definitely not a downgrade by Katina Capital.
Buy Nicola instead.
We're getting into the rundown here. Don't call it DWAC because it's BWAC. Blue World Acquisition Corporation making a move after the close last night. We're back higher right now. So BWAQ. 794,000 shares on that. So just tread lightly if you're going to fool around with BWAC today. All right, let's talk the overall market.
Kept making me laugh there, Bruno. 53.71, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES June contract. Look at this consolidation area top. That's because we're ranging below that critical level of resistance. 53.75 has been that spot since the 5th of this month. We haven't been breaking through it on a closing basis. To the downside, let's go ahead and say that 53.25, which where we bottomed out on the 7th as support.
I just saw Dan Ives note here on Apple. I haven't read that yet, so we'll get to that. If you haven't done so, go to the website, tradertv.live, wait for the pop-up, enter your email address, and that's it. You get the watch list, everything you need to know for free every single day, right to your inbox, right down there. Wedbush with a positive note. I mean, basically all of these, as I was saying before, minus a couple here, are analyst moves, mostly positive, coming off the day one of WWDC yesterday with the main presentation. I mean, it does continue for the next couple of days here, but typically there's not much after day one that's notable.
Yeah. So here's what stood out to me, guys. Basically that I was impressed with the features, but I was concerned that people would be able to adopt the features without upgrading. We know that iPhone sales have been struggling this year. There hasn't been that incentive for people to upgrade and pay the cost for a new iPhone. But this is going to be required. You're going to need the 15 Pro or the new 16, probably later available later this year. So this could spell a super cycle for Apple. Let's watch what happens.
It's worth noting as well. I mean, tablets getting it, or the iPad's getting it, the laptop's getting it as well. But same story. You have to be on the M silicon to be eligible, guys.
Yeah, and that's sort of that's a big deal because like I know that's going to be the impetus for like my parents to both get it. They'll probably refresh their iPad and probably give to my nephew or my daughter the old one. And I think that's important. It's really, really important for them. But I think the day after the event, when you're day trading, we kind of went over Apple and long term already. When you're day trading, you got to pay attention to these key levels. Randy in the building. So look, I'm just going to respect. Oh,
Yes.
There it is. Now I got two though.
Wow, Neil, share the bananas.
I did grab one already, so there you go. I'm saving mine for after the show.
Yeah, I'm not eating it live on air. This is where this would go wrong.
Mine for after the show, but appreciate it, Randy. We love you, brother. We were just talking about EVs.
Lucid now.
Whoa, hold on a second.
Whoa.
You've never once said lucid to us when we ask about EVs.
Wow, you know
Are
something
you
about
slapping a bot? You know it's probably like $1.90.
Is the Saudi investment fund coming through again here? What do you know? What do you know, Randy? Got a little, looking at a bounce. Yeah, it had to be a nice little bounce here. Lucid in the last year going from a very impressive January of 450 down to 272. It's actually not that bad. Actually, it's not as bad as some of these other names like our beloved Fisker and stuff like that. 240, yeah, possible bounce area. I don't mind that. Above the 50-period moving average, you might have found something here, Randy. That's Lucid. And then our best friend over there, RJ and whatnot with Rivian. Let's go find out what RJ is saying right now.
Rivian off the
yes, I am in the money nicely now. 50 cents on Rivian. Okay, I'll take 3%. I'll take 3%.
It's a good week because when you had Shopify, I had Rivian as the one of the week. And Rivian, it hasn't broken 12 yet.
Right.
But it's trying to get there. It's trying to go. I just can't figure out. I thought there was a short float on Lucid, and my trade ID is the same blank. I want to say it's in the 20% range, but I'm not getting any data on that. So I'm going to double check. I think it's pretty
Yes.
decent. I don't mind this Lucid off of that.
Immediately coffee.
Yeah, I'll take one as well, but now that we're here, we'll get to Apple in a quick little second.
gonna
I didn't
find
realize
out.
how this was. It's basically like the Tesla chart, right? This is almost identical to the Tesla daily chart in terms of structure. Like it's holding the 50 period in a downward trend. So that support level probably scalpable, I guess, if it was in the 60s. I don't know if the volume's good enough though. But Lucid, that's a new one from Randy.
Yeah, so I checked on Benzinga here. 27.
27% short float for Lucid.
Yeah. And
I like that a little bit more.
Rivian is
Not that you need a short float.
19 for Rivian.
It doesn't hurt if it starts going, you start squeezing some people because shorts got to cover. So when it comes to Apple, I like post-event levels because they show you where the liquidity is. And it was a gigantic example of that yesterday. The high before, like right at 1 o'clock, like right in here at 1 o'clock, it was like 196.5. And then that was the top after all the good stuff from the AI. And then look at the bottom at 192.25. It just held like an absolute charm. You know, I lost going long Apple early yesterday, got half of it back, basically just playing the long off of that low. So I don't want to complicate it. 192 held, 192.25 specifically. So I want to look longs off of that level. And if it bounces there, great. If it gets to the top, that's like 96. I think that can be a little bit of a short.
So we have,
I didn't miss that.
just got news now, Affirm and Apple are locking up. Now when you want to go buy that Apple iPhone 15, you can buy now and pay never, and I guess Affirm will be stuck with that bill. So we'll see what winds up happening here. No, I mean, I like Affirm. Actually, Affirm is actually, you know, as much as I sort of, look, I hated the name back up when it was $130. You know, I mean, right now, Affirm actually, you know, it's been holding this 24, 25 area pretty nicely. And we know there's a short float here. And now a tie-up with Apple is nice. So we'll see what this means for Affirm. All kidding aside, anybody I feel like that can be part of this Apple super cycle, I feel like is going to be huge. Let's just talk about Apple quickly. Look, I mean, already Apple's up, NASDAQ down. Apple's a buy today. It's on the sticky note. It's the number one name. I think we've pumped the tires of Apple enough here. This story is a long-term one. It's a great one. That Worldwide Developer Conference, I don't think we could have expected anything else. They delivered, and I think it's going to be huge. So Apple right now already beating the market here today. I like the long. I wrote down a possible break of 193.50 just from yesterday, and that looks like where we're coming into right now. You're not going to be able to buy the dip. I mean, it's not even. It's this level right here, 193.25. I was just bumping it up a bit and saying 50. It kind of danced around there a little bit. And I do think we get to 194.50, and I think we go higher. But again, I was uncertain of what the market wanted to do. We have a big Fed day tomorrow, inflation data coming through. So I could see the market selling off. I mean, I didn't think the NASDAQ would be down a quarter or more than that, a third, and Apple be up today. I thought Apple could have dragged the market down, which is why I wrote down, wait for a base to buy Apple. But I might not wait at all. I still feel like waiting the first couple minutes might be good, but the base might be right here is what I'm getting at. 192, 192.50. We might have already gotten that base. So I think Apple needs to be a huge long, but yesterday it was P&L number one, red side for me. So it was, I think we only had one red stock yesterday, and it was Apple, and it carried the whole day. So yesterday we bought this, moved down, and it was just not right early for Apple, was right late, and then kind of bounced around off of WWDC. So as that conference still continues today, I still feel like there's more to come with Apple.
All right, we touched on it earlier. Let's go back to Spotify here, kind of drifting lower. Volume's not impressive with this at all. So far this morning, it was a big move just on the lack of liquidity, I think. But if you're with us 8:30 to 9, we were mentioning $5 you can pay for Supremium. Sorry. I stole that. Gets you higher quality audio, gets you some tools to make lists, I guess, playlists and stuff.
That's exactly it, Brendo. High fidelity audio, advanced playing tools. What I really looked at, though, is that this addition of $5 is about 40% increase from the average monthly subscribers rate right now. So that's a decent bump there for the margins. That's all I'm seeing here, Brendo. I'm not probably going to subscribe.
Yeah, not a lot of interest, guys, for Spot so far.
Forget about Spotify.
Honestly, the volume's not
Apple
great on
Music.
It's just not. It's not an exciting day trading stock. We talked about the trend, I guess. So that $300 level on a trend basis would look pretty good. But speaking of trend lines, I'm not going to ignore. I hate to pivot right back to that Affirm story. But if you pull up a daily chart of Affirm, when you talk about trends, this has been one of the cleanest downward trends. There's your lower highs. You have some wicks through it that have gotten failed. And I could draw the bottom end of the trend line, but I don't think we're going to see that today. So this is, if it breaks 34, it's breaking trend. Maybe you can close above there, and then you get a long-term trend going. I think that's a line to watch. Interestingly enough, you can't make it up. This had a death cross yesterday, which up 5% on news. It just goes to show news matters more, momentum matters more. It's just a couple of lines intersecting on a chart, the 50 and the 200. But if this gets above 34, I think it could absolutely fly on Affirm. And that's a kind of catalyst that usually you can get a move like that. If it's not earnings, it's something like this. Because the firm's been in a downtrend since December off that high. Could be finally breaking out, but it has to break that 34.
Yeah, so here, what's up, Yvonne here. Sean, when you say more to come, you mean they can invent something? No, Apple doesn't need to invent anything. They've already invented something. It's called the iPhone. They've already invented something. It's called iTunes. They've already invented something. It's called the Apple Store. It's called the ecosystem. And that's what they've invented. And they could steal absolutely everybody's technology to the point where they even get their watches banned. And you know what Apple does? That's nice. They just continue to move forward. And I get it. I mean, including people around here, there's going to be a lot of haters of the product. But haters going to hate. Little Taylor Swift song. But the thing is that, no, I mean, I just like Apple for what it is, and we'll just see where it goes from here. That's Apple, and it's their user base. That's what I like. We talk about daily active users, and it's just kind of like that Affirm story. If they can get more users on board to use their products, then that is what it is. Everybody can not like a certain thing, or they can love a certain thing. It's up to you. I don't know. It's you know, I mean, I think we have a good example right here with Spotify. I have Apple Music. You know, some people will say Apple Music is crap. Is it? I don't know. I listen to music. It's great for me. Podcasts, everything. Some people are going to say Spotify is way better than Tidal or whatever else is out there. Pandora? Does that still exist? There's going to be lots of different services, and to each their own, really, at the end of the day. So, I mean, I think if you want to pay for Spotify, the stock has been absolutely great. We've already talked about the 50-period moving average. It's something that I've looked at just for a while. If we can go to the chart at some point, would be great. Yeah, so that little move up there just continues to go. So I like Spotify here as well. I think you play the momentum. I've recently sold Spotify, so for me, it's a no-go for the stock for me, but again, I like the stock. I don't love it. I don't use it enough to be a huge fan of it. But all these improvements, I mean, anytime you can increase your price and not lose a user base, then I mean, I think that's a good sign. And you know, $5 a month, to me, it would be enough for me to cancel, to be honest with you, because I just don't maybe use the products, but audiophiles and everything like that really love better quality. I mean, I think this is a great thing for them, and they may move to Spotify. So I think it's, like I said, to each their own. So that's what technology is these days. It's so competitive, and everybody knows everything. Pretty much everything's open source. So when you create something, the next person can probably just recreate it in a matter of minutes. So yeah, I like the stock. I like the user base. I just don't use it myself.
All right, let's go on to Alphabet. Had that kind of odd move right at the very end of the presentation, the Apple presentation yesterday. Huge run up and spike in Google shares, came all the way back to basically where it was in the morning to end the day. So we're higher on the morning, but there are a number of positive notes here from analysts, Bank of America, Evercore, to name a few. Jeff Bezos, back Perplexity CEO, criticizing Google's ad-heavy model, saying it's going the path of Yahoo.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not good.
That's bold.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, so many different upgrades and comments today about Google. So just offhand here, B of A upgrading Google or reiterating a buy and maintaining a price target of 200. This is what got my attention though. Google search unlikely to be disrupted by Apple Gen AI use cases, says Morgan Stanley. So they go on to say here that in their view, the use cases presented by Apple do not appear to present a disintermediation threat to the broad-based internet search. They also go on to say here that a lot of these options with Apple AI are going to be available later this year or into next year, giving Google time to catch up and possibly, even exceed Apple. And then they talked about the Google-Apple AI partnership, and Apple left that open yesterday, Brendo. They said they're going to work with other language models, not just ChatGPT.
Yeah, just double checking on Schwab here. There was a note, apparently some technical issues happening with Schwab. The stock's not moving though. Google, still looking great, even on the daily chart, guys.
Yeah, near those highs. Look, I
Google.
don't think you ever want to be compared to Yahoo. I think everyone can understand that. No, I don't think the comparison is apt, personally. And I still use
target
Yahoo
increase?
every single time they want anybody or any website or anything I'm signing up for. It's like, oh, you need an email address? Oh, yeah, you're going to get my my Yahoo that I've had for a million years, and I have the coolest. I'm not going to say it, but let's just say you can tell by my Yahoo email that I've been on it for the entire time. I think it's an inside trade for Alphabet, and it's not. I don't think it's terribly exciting. I think if Meta can punch through 03s, that's more exciting. NVIDIA's NVIDIA. Apple after the event, I think, is more exciting. We now have a firm which is playing. I like Mar. We'll talk about crypto, so we're going to get to Mar in a quick little second. So there's other things on the list. But if we get to this top at $178 on Alphabet, increase or no increase, it's like a triple top. I know it's setting up for some kind of a breakout. But that's been a pretty good wall up here. 78 has wicked and failed every single time it's gotten up there. So I think if you see that today, I'd be looking for a short on Alphabet. I'm not incredibly, I don't know if we get there, but if we do, that's what I would wait around for on Google. So no trade for me unless we get up to that top to short.
Yeah, I was looking at a story here. There's nothing going on. Just some top stocks. HIMS, AMD.
That was an IPO.
Yeah, that way, I forget what it's called now, but yeah, something on that one. Okay, so for me on Google, look, again, it's either this or Microsoft or my largest holdings in the long-term account. So I really like the stock. Needless to say, there's not much to say about it other than the fact that for some reason, people left Google for dead when ChatGPT arrived. And that was like ridiculous. We can go back to, I think it was back into here on that February announcement. Yeah, this must have been at February of 23. Is that when it was? And then Google just fell down. Like, can you believe this was in February of 23? Like, we're in June of 24. This was a $90 stock, Google. Like, you've doubled pretty smoothly. It did not do much right down here, but you were never really, little bit of a pullback. It just keeps going. I think you want to buy dips in this name for sure. The AI talk just is more wins for Google. Market down, Google up. Let's go. We like the name. Obviously, the tie-up with Chat rather than Gemini. They're still partners. Google Chrome, Apple Chrome. There's going to be tie-ups here for a long time. The Gmail mail app as well, very, very popular on iOS. If Elon is going to say, well, we don't want Apple products, Google products, I guess, and there's been studies for this, the iOS is safer than Android. So it's just, you look back here and it's like, we'll see if there's any sort of a pushback for Google. But again, I really like all of these names. Like, I almost think that, forget about picking, I almost just wonder if we just buy the NASDAQ now. I really like Amazon's story. I like what they're doing with AWS and what they're going to be doing with their AI and forcing products on us that they know we like. And then everything else that Amazon's doing. Apple with their gaming, they even announced yesterday some cool stuff there that I saw with Ubisoft. And then I really do I don't love Tesla in the space. I mean, Meta, I think, might be the best. I mean, this advertising business that Meta has is absolutely hot fire, continues to be that way. Meta, even if we go back to even that story that I just said about where Google was in January of 23, you can go back here to where these guys were as well. Same kind of levels back in February, I think is what the example I was using, 330 up to 500. I mean, many of these names continue to just impress. So, I like all the NASDAQ right now. Do think there's a chance for a pullback, obviously, but a lot of these names continue to work. Google's just one of them.
All right, we'll talk some crypto here to the downside for the most part across the board, along with Bitcoin this morning. Equities with big gaps on the charts. That's Coinbase right now on a 15-minute chart. Ends the day yesterday, basically right at 250. We're $10 almost lower to start things off. A 1 month low coming in this morning for BTC.
Yeah, there is, as we were saying earlier, there is a bit of a connection between the CPI weeks and Fed weeks and the price of crypto, specifically Bitcoin, especially if we get a higher than expected print this time on CPI. History has shown that usually when we do get that higher print, Bitcoin sells off, and that was already starting to happen a little bit as we had the first net outflows out of the Bitcoin spot ETF in 19 days occurred, about $65 million, Brendo, with respect to that. So we'll have to keep an eye on Bitcoin later this week as well.
Yeah, trying to bounce here right now. We're back above, if you zoom in a little bit, what is that? 67,000 coming into play right now, guys, for Bitcoin.
Yeah, so with that pullback, you can imagine a couple of these names have been under some pressure this morning. Mara down 3%, and we talked about things being at flat top or flat bottom support and all that kind of stuff. The 50 period pretty much right here, right now at 1880. And if you look at the last couple of weeks, it's been holding on to this 19. Mostly weakness going into it, like failing 23, but mostly weakness heading into this $19 level. So if we're not breaking back above 19, I think I'm looking short on the stock. It's trying to trend back in. So if it breaks out, I don't think you want to fight. I wouldn't want to be fighting this if it reclaims 19 even and it's just, I think it's a short because the trend was into the downside. No, if it's reclaiming 19, that's the support level. But as long as it's underneath, I want to look to be taking shots at this to the sell side. As always, if trading, Mara will have, I have a chart up of BTC, or you can look at IBIT, it doesn't really matter. But I'll have a chart up of BTC. If you're screaming to the upside, kind of like how we fell yesterday, you don't want to be fighting that move in Mara. If Bitcoin's screaming back up and testing 68.5, 69, then you shouldn't be trying to short the name. But as long as you're holding near the bottoms, the 67 area and maybe lower, then Mara under 19 for me is a short. The trend speaks for itself. Just don't want to fight it if I see BTC breaking out.
Look, we talk here about at Real Trading about paying for short, so I just had to go there and do that. I bought 1,000 shares of the Ethereum Trust, and it cost me an amazing $1.26. So we'll play this here today as it's starting to break a little bit lower. No volume here that we're recording in the pre-market. I mean, it's 2,000 shares, so there is some kind of printing right now. But if Ethereum breaks down, we have it right here, 3,500. So if you're looking at the stock, I mean, again, it's not really like there's any levels here that I'm concerned with. I'm just trying to play some of the news. If something comes out, I don't know. I'm always thinking why are we dropping down 3 or 4%? Is there something that somebody knows about something? Is there something up with the ETF, or is it just losing some steam right now and just not super excited? So, maybe there is a chance today of some kind of a news drop. So I'll sit here with Ethereum and just wait to play it. So I paid for short on 1,000 shares. I'll probably trade in 500 share lots because, again, you got to be pretty careful with the pricing here of this and where liquidity lies. So we'll watch the ARCA gateway and then OTCN as well, as that'll give us that lightning execution and the level 1, level 2 protection that we need. So we'll watch out for that there. It's called Link. We'll see if that can get filled and what the volume looks like on ETHE. But that's where I'm going to be looking. I mean, we've got news here. And if there's anything hits on Ethereum, I want to look at that stock. So I paid for shorts there. And then we actually not even have GameStop on here, which is kind of strange for me. But I also paid for shorts in GameStop. Again, you know, same kind of share sizes on GameStop. I'm not trading this. I'm not trading this like it's a meme stock anymore because it's not really moving like that. You're going to have good opportunities where, yeah, sure. I mean, a $28 stock doesn't normally move $4. So sure, there has those movements, but then it's pretty controlled, like being able to get in and get out. You're not seeing like those levels being wiped out anymore like we've seen in the past. So I think you could trade this with a little bit more size now and try to support this. And I just wrote down on the sticky note, which is out, by the way, and thank you. Over 9,000 views on it yesterday. So I want to say thank you to that. Like 9,000 views is quite a lot for that. So thank you to everybody for that. But 23.5 to 23, I think, is a great level. And it's a pretty obvious one for GameStop. So I think as long as you respect, and I traded it yesterday. We had a great trade short, an average trade long that we wound up losing on early. But anyways, I like GameStop down here. I don't like it as much as some cat guy does, but I like GameStop down here in and around 23, 23.50.
He's still holding.
But yeah, I want him to dispose more of that 30 mil he has sitting there in the bank into GameStop before it gets going. And I don't advise that he does that, not financial
Do you know
advice.
what the tweet would be? I was thinking about this because if he did put that cash into it, it'll be a dude shoving chips and standing up at the table. That's what I think that's what it should be. If he does that, then to me, I would indicate that.
I just don't understand any of those tweets,
I don't think
man.
he's going to.
Yesterday, the guy went online. It was $38, $39. And look, I was sitting here so pumped up. The stupid cat graphics were going. This music was going. He's here. We waited 30 minutes for this. Here he comes. He's lying there. He's acting like he's hurt. It was hilarious. It was great. The stock was ripping. And then he just said, I like Ryan Cohen. And I'm not sure what we expected him to say. It's kind of like that Apple.
That was the thing. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Apple event. He came out, he showed his positions, he talked about why he liked the stock, and the stock just didn't react this time. Will he do it again? I hope so. A lot of entertainment.
It was fun.
And some great trading opportunities because, like you said, if you just shorted at 12 o'clock when he was nowhere to be found, this was the move down. It just crashed at 12 o'clock when he didn't show up. The move went from $38 down to 30, and then when he did show up, it continued to go lower, where he mocked the stock going lower. So I don't know.
What's interesting, he made a good point about.
It was a lot of fun.
At the end of it, when he was laughing about the stock being a halt, it's because he made a joke about, I'm going to say I'm ending the stream right now. But he didn't actually end the stream, and he just did that to prove a point that the algos would sell the stock, and it went into a down halt. So I think that's one of the times he was laughing about it going down was because of that joke. And I know I criticized him, like, why would you be laughing about that? I think it's because he was pointing out that the algos are going nuts on it. But GameStop, I paid for him. I'm looking to short it as well into the 26 level.
You should buy.
We get 23. We get it.
Buy 30 million of Bitcoin.
We kind of already talked about GM, but let's go back to the desk.
Yeah, super strong. Sharif and I were just talking about that. Huge move yesterday for the stock. Basically didn't even pull back at all the way up to 47.50. We get the $6 billion worth of a buyback announced this morning. Yeah, more than 10% of the current market cap for GM.
What aggressive amount there. And it's coming on the heels of the other buyback program that they had to the tune of $5 billion. They announced that in 2022, just finished completing that now. Basically, when you buy back shares, you're indicating confidence in the financial health and the cash flow generation of your company. With respect to this buyback, they're going to have flexibility when to execute it. It's really going to be based on market conditions, and there's no specified time frame here, Brendan.
Yeah, a bit of a pullback, but still up nicely, guys, for GM today.
I already know that I sold most of my General Motors shares, GM shares, the last time it was at a big resistance level at the top. So that's probably 20% that we could have back. It is what it is. The rest that I have, I'm probably not going to dump today. We'll just kind of let it ride because it's not that many shares. The volumes, it's on 1.2 million shares, but I don't know that GM is looking like much of a day trade for me. Yeah, we're going to stick to the names we sort of have already talked about. We haven't talked NVIDIA. We only have 1 minute to go, so I'm going to keep it really simple. NVIDIA did not break out of the last 2 days range before the split. So if it doesn't do the same, if it does something similar, I think you look for yesterday's bottom as support. You look at the 120 area as a support level because that's at 12,000 as well for NVIDIA. It's weird that we didn't talk about NVIDIA once, but that 1,200 level was big before. That 1,200 held late in the day. That 1,200 held late in the morning yesterday. So that's the first place I'd look for a dip buy. We got Mara on the mind. Affirm came in late with that Apple news. Apple obviously on its own. GameStop if it wants to pop. There is a short. And I also paid for AMC because if I ever miss a short on GameStop, the first thing I think about is just jump into AMC in the same regard. And now we can drop the bell on this Tuesday because Adara is back. So we're ringing the bell to get this party started in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Adara. And now the U.S. markets are open, I hear in my ear. I don't think they usually say that.
Yeah, I don't know, but the U.S. markets are now open, and we're looking at NVIDIA, we're looking at Apple. We are now long on Apple, by the way. Got to open up my blotter here to see this position. Apple just breaks through 194. My mouse is not working. There it is. All right, so there we go. Now we have Apple. We are long on this name as it starts to go longer. Upside right here for Apple. Let's get some out on the way up. We just punched a 194 long. We like the stock. Let's make sure that we get something out again, because I saw even in the chat, right? There's a lot of traders that don't like the release. There's a lot of traders that love the release. Yeah. So let's get some out. It's an instant money-making winner right there off the jump for Apple. Adara always talks about confidence. If I don't have Apple long right now, then I am a fool. And that might be true. Both things could be true also. So right now, there it is. We'll take 50 cents on Apple. Pound the sirens right there. It's an early dub for your boy on Apple.
I just saw something. Whoa. Okay. Never mind on Affirm. Looks like that is headed much, much higher. I thought we'd go dip by hunting in Affirm. Going to quickly change the plan. I thought we'd get like 32s, consolidation. Remember, Apple, Affirm, buy now, pay later partnership. Apple partnership is good, last I checked. So I'm going to look at VWAP in here. If it breaks 34 in the daily, that's a trend break. But this was a late one. You never really know where the news is going to come in or what is going to happen. And Affirm is a new one. Oh, goodness, Mara. All right. Sometimes it'd be like that. It is what it is. Yeah. I missed by 1 cent, maybe 2 on Mara just there. So Mara just tanked off the 19 level. Bitcoin, I'm assuming, not doing a heck of a lot. But I just missed our opportunity to short that one under the 19. It's at 18.5, so all we can do is wait for the next available pop. But Mara in the tank, underneath that support level, and it looks like it is continuing heavily to the downside here on Mara. Yikes.
All right, I mean, we'll just go 1 for 1 on the sticky note right now and just continue to go a dollar club right now. There it is. It's a dollar as quick as you can. Wow, Apple. Where's Sharif? Where's all the love of Apple right now? We'll fire off the hot dog gun as there it goes, breaking through 195. I mean, again, it's the #1 name here on the sticky note. I mean, again, thank you for the 9,000 views yesterday. Apple right now, it says long. It says great story. It says break long early. There's exactly the trade that we want to have on, and we're here for you guys again right there on a nice little move for Apple, and now let's see where it goes. I mean, it's again, everybody, trade the way that you want to trade this name. For me, it is now just an absolute moonshot there to the north side, and we're pretty happy to have taken it. So there it goes, man. Congratulations, anybody that believed in that trade. It could still easily just retrace back in. We only have about 25% left of that Apple trade. NVIDIA falling down. This is the one that interests me now. What's up, A?
Early small cap runner here, Airship AI. AISP is the ticker for this one. Currently up about 28%, getting a 6-figure sole source contract within the Department of Justice in the U.S. for its enterprise video and data management platform. So nice DOJ contract pushing AISP to the upside, guys.
After this morning, I don't know, thank you, Randy, for the coffee, but maybe I'll take a later coffee next time as well, because there it goes. We are still going upside there on Apple. We'll post it up again. It is the #1 trade today, so we'll, for the sticky note, we'll wait to see. I'm not into anything else. Maybe buying dips on Apple or AMD. How's your Affirm, or are you in?
No, it was supposed to be Mara. It is what it is, man. Mara is the one I like the best. Mara is now, it just tanked from 1890 to 18. It's an unchaseable move. Is the best way to think about it. Like, there is no chance that I'm punching short FOMO at an 18 break. It's just way too far gone at this point. It could even go SSR, in which case I gotta have to make the adjustment of even looking for a short sell restricted bounce as this continues to tank. That said, you gotta go on to the next trade. Affirm still making a run at that 34. VWAP just moving target because volume is coming in later this morning. Dude. It just got up to 33.5. It's trying to bust higher. NVIDIA, we're looking for dip buys in NVIDIA. It did not get to 120, but it got to 121 and bouncing. So it looks like pre-market lows on NVIDIA is going to be the level. If it breaks 123, that's yesterday's high. I'm only looking for longs on NVDA. We said we'd short GameStop, but that was shorting pops. GameStop is at the bottom. The absolute bottom. It's at 23 right now and trying to bounce. That was
23?
That was I was about to say, that's the support level. So
what am I even doing?
Sometimes it's about what is the trade in front of you. I wanted to short a pop here. There was no pop to short, and GameStop is at the low.
All right, we're long now, GameStop. But what we were just doing right there was Dollar Club twice right now on Apple. So, hey, if you're rocking with me, I'll see you tomorrow. I mean, go enjoy your day. Spend some time with family. Do what I'm not going to do because I'm going to still stay here on the show. But go have some fun because there it is right there. That's your day. That's your month. That is everything. Props up to anybody that has that Apple trade. There it is right there. And like we said, man, this is real trading. We talk about our number one sponsor here. I don't know if there's a better example. Have the confidence, have the sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say balls because that's not right, but I just did. To get into a trade that you believe in and even do it early. We talked about breaking it. There it is right there. So good trade for that. We will take 30 cents quickly here on GameStop as we buy the O's. And now we'll just wait for another move a little bit higher. But hey, you guys have seen me. Those of you that have seen me now for 4 years, you know what's good. There goes Apple again. We now only, unfortunately, have 20% left of this trade as we just cashed out at 196.50. Life is good no matter how we trade, but today it even feels a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, and GameStop making, we just missed 40s there. My second offer, 40s on GameStop, it bounced off that 23. Just as we're talking about, it's like, look, we wanted to short it, but if it's not going to give you the short, you got to take the next trade. $23, it got to the 30 level, tried to bust 40. If we hold 23 a second time, I think it's worth the reload, but I want to see it bounce first. Weak stock, let it bounce, and then go. Affirm off of VWAP, just came back in, hit enter twice. Tried to make this bounce. It's not even VWAP anymore. It's this 32.5 support level. I got out in front of VWAP, and then it just broke support. So it's like a flat trade because we did take profit. Hard to see because it's red on red. But we just got that bounce. Same moment that we had that GameStop coming in. Affirm came into some support. If it ends up failing from here, remember 34 is a big, big level on the daily. So you got to respect that. So back over to GameStop. Still looking good. If we get 23.40, that's our next out. Then I'll look for 23.70, 23.80, and then we're out of that trade. Downward trending, I'm only long this thing to VWAP at best, and then we look for some short opportunities on GME.
It's $3 now for Apple. We talked about this as a long-term play. We talked about this as a short-term play. And we love our Apple, baby. And there it goes right now. Huge move to the upside on Apple. We like it. We like it. We like the stock. We talked about that a little bit. We talked about it so much that Ramin goes, hey, I want to get into the stock name. I said, open it up, drop some money into what stock? AAPL. And there it is, a nice little upside move. Hey, Fabian, how's it going, my guy? Welcome back, Fabian. Welcome back, Ramin, right now. Ramin also checking out the #1 podcast trending on YouTube right now. The #1 trending podcast on YouTube. Freedom and Wealth right now dropping through. So there it is right now, 1.1K views, dropped 2 days ago. More views than subs. And a lot of quick little tips on there right now. Ramin watched it, opened up her account immediately and dropped her money in. So now let's see, where does Ramin invest in? Who knows? But I know where we're up in right now. Let's props it up right now for Apple. There she goes. And again, we talked about this. There's a lot of people in the chat like Apple's going down. That was not.
Who said that? I don't think I saw anybody say that.
Okay, well, I saw people in the chat saying this Apple's way too high. Who's buying it up here? Numerous people. as you go on. Apple monster winner. Neil, don't hate, just love the game. And there goes Apple right now, $3.
I'm saying everybody loves Apple. I think
Right.
it was a
Do you
great
love this
report.
trade? Do you love this trade?
I absolutely love it.
Bang, there it is. Thank you, Mr.
Guys,
Neil
Tesla
Roberts.
170,
There it
Tesla
goes.
170 in a couple of seconds here. Tesla is absolutely tanking, 170 on the bid. I saw some big size down there. I think it's going to be a heavy break on Tesla at this level, so I'm taking a shot.
AMD
My
going
stop
the
order is
other
going.
way.
There's a lot of things going the other way here. It's basically an Apple story because I'm looking over and I'm like, this is death on Tesla, down 2%. It's a heavy, heavy bid. Every time it pops, it's like offer, 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 offer. So if it's a breakdown, I treat breakouts and breakdowns very separately. So for me, I'm going to be works right away or not. If I get it and it doesn't immediately start flushing, I'm out at the quarters on this Tesla 170 break. I did not think we would see this, and now it's 940 and it's already here.
Yeah. All right, so the one thing that's going to the downside right now as well, I mean, great trading on Tesla. I mean, that's the thing. And again, it's just the same thing. You know, Elon Musk probably lost his way with that comment, to be honest with you. So I don't know if there's another story about Tesla, but all right, let's go find out.
There's
right
the vote
now,
tomorrow.
There's the vote tomorrow, yeah. So
Pay
that's
package.
Thursday.
Thursday.
Right. So that's probably not it. All right, 159. I mean, it could be it. I don't know. We've heard a lot about that pay package. I saw yesterday, so like one of the major ones was voting for it, one was voting against. I don't know. At the same point, he's probably going to be out of there at some point, anyways. And see you later, Delaware. All right, so let's wait to see what happens here. We are stuck long. There's no doubt about that. AMD just fell in. I like the 160 level. We bid 159.50 because we wrote down 159 as possible bottom, and it looks like that came in real quick. Like I said, watch out for NVIDIA, and we know that two stocks are not alike right now. And this is the thing, like NVIDIA is pretty much holding up. I mean, it only went down $1 or so, but I guess again, it's a $120 name, so I guess there could be something about that. All right, let's see if if AMD wants to come back up to the upside right now. I'm gonna lick my wounds a little bit here, get out of 10% now for 50 cents, and then get out of a little bit more if it gets back, actually cancel some of that. If it gets back into the 30s, actually, no, I'm pretty happy. We just got out of some right now. Let's see if it wants to work. We just take a 50-cent hit, so let's put the same kind of shares upside for 50 cents. And then I don't know, like I know we both got GameStop on, which is trying to work.
50 level, 23 and a half.
Some more out.
I'm getting it all out in front of VWAP because I still think this is a short. So ultimately, the initial idea was short. So if it gets to VWAP, I'm gonna be looking for some kind of a curl on GME. I don't know where it's gonna be. I just know that I want to get it if it happens. As far as the firm goes, it's trying to catch a bit off of 32, but I want to let this settle down. They're digesting this new Apple news. What does it mean? What does it not mean? It's already up 5.5%, so let's respect that. We're only in GME, and Tesla didn't break 270. So as long as it's on the bid, you know, it's got some support underneath. But here comes NVIDIA. If you don't get 120, yesterday's high, can't go too far back. 123 is yesterday's top. So this is what NVIDIA is shooting for. I want to buy dips, preferably to taking breakouts on this stock. So maybe we can get an even at 22 or at 21. But as I say that I want to get it all out of GameStop, it's already starting to dip. Got to take your profit. I think that stock is probably headed down throughout the day.
Yeah, we did a good job there on GameStop. We got out at 50 there, and we're still holding a third of it, so we'll see. And again, we didn't have much faith in AMD, and I don't know if I still do or not. It just went 30 cents in the money. We didn't take it because, again, we're waiting for 50, so we're now in the 80s. To see if we can get 30 cents on that because we just stopped at 78 or whatever it was there on AMD. But as Neil was just looking at NVIDIA, it's kind of like they're just one and the same right now as they're just trying to recover. So hopefully as NVIDIA recovers from that drop, and I don't know what that was all about, we did mention that, AMD got hit a lot more. So I honestly feel like, again, this is a little backward. I haven't made very much money on AMD.
This Mara.
Mara's still making moves.
1760.
Yeah, that's probably a buy. We talked about Mara down there at 15. I don't even have to look at a chart to know that level. We've talked about 15, 16 on Mara for long term, but I don't know enough about the miners. Like, I'd rather buy Bitcoin.
18, I mean, if it gets to, 1750, I mean, it'll be SSR in like a heartbeat. So short sell restriction is going to come into play on this name. Yeah, GameStop's right back at this 23. Like, look at how quick. I'm mad. I should have just taken 23 and a half. It just goes right back into the bottom as GameStop just made that big reversion. Tesla is reverting as well. What else did I even like short? The problem is Mara was the name that I liked short the most. So in the absence of getting that, I mean, I can look over at Coinbase here. Look at Coin. 240 is the level. It's down at 236. You got to be careful with that one. NVIDIA is a strong stock. Don't want to fight it. Tesla at 170 break is the next shoe to drop, it seems. So we're down at 170.40. It feels like this is heavy enough that it's going to make the breakdown. So the next trade, unless GameStop is a bid at 23 that I can see a second time, it's already bouncing. I think it'll be Tesla short through the 170.
Yeah, you know what? The Tesla short is probably... So we just got out of one last piece of Apple. So right now we have like 5% left. So we just got out at 197. Like honestly, $3. Like we gotta. I mean, it just was 350 in the money, but the market's pulling back, and I'm not super convinced about what's going to be happening right now. And I'm actually pretty nervous about AMD, but I don't want to give it up because although the market's falling down here, for some reason now, like is this bizarre? This is bizarro world again. Like the market's. It just stopped at 78 again? No, honestly, that's twice in a row now. I'm at 80s thinking, okay, here we go. We're going to get it. We sure are. Right there, but I'm like, what? Here it goes, man. We got the big one again here. Let's take something out in the 90s. There it is. Yes, 93s. It's another 50 cents right here. Man, we are cruising today. Good trading here, just off our levels, right? AMD down here at 159. We talk about that as being the low. It goes to 158.50, where I was bidding, because that just happened quickly, man. We were talking about the #1 podcast now on YouTube, and then all of a sudden we were talking about Apple, which right now Apple is looking for $1, $2, $3, $4 now in the money. So as I said, there will be some people that will short this. And honestly, I am thinking now, and we talked to Michael Noss about this yesterday on the recap show, and that is that there's just such a huge top right here right now. There it is. It is now $5 in the money as we're up there at 198 on Apple. Just keeps on going higher here. We knew that was a great WWDC announcement there. And again, we pumped the tires of this stock all morning, and there it goes. And I feel like this has just been a great opportunity to really trade a big name pretty easily there today to the long side. I mean, it's just only easy because it hasn't stopped. I mean, that's the whole thing. And then another name that, I don't know, just got to 160 and stopped a little bit. Let's put some out. Again, another out there at 160. Put 50 more cents in our pocket. Today's a very, very, very good day. Schwab apparently still down, maybe? Okay.
Yeah, Schwab is apparently having issues. I've seen a lot of people talk about it. So I'm in Mara, out GameStop. You're going to quickly see, let's go with GameStop first. Remember, like, we should have just taken it all out at that 23.5. We don't. We still hold on to some. When 23 breaks, we're out of it. So I think the fail was not just getting it all out when it showed you that curl of 23.5. But now back into the downside is this name. Tesla just made the breaks. We'll get to Mara in a quick little second. But Tesla breaking the 70 level. I mean, it's just... At the end of the day, like I'll be only mad at myself because I wasn't aggressive enough on the Mara trade. But Tesla, I didn't even see coming as a flat bottom break. So 73 gone. Now 70 is headed to the downside. The vote doesn't matter, but it doesn't help that you got Elon battling with major shareholders, right? You have all the major shareholders basically saying they don't support him, and then all of retail's for the package. Like 90% of retail is okay with the package. So we just got 169.60. And we'll get some out if it gets to 169 even. From there, I think if it trends for the rest of the day, you want to be shorting pops and all that good stuff. But a nasty day for Tesla, as good as everything else is to the upside. I just saw Meta was at the high and trying to break out. Tesla doesn't care, and Tesla's dying. And we're into Mara. It's obviously very, very late to the move, but you've just got to take the next trade. So I was focused on where is it going to show me an entry. We're not going to get 19. So we wait for it to show you 18. So it fails at 18, comes back up, fails underneath 18 again. I got 1790s. We'll take some on this area here, 1775, and then look for the low of the day. So Tesla, bad. Apple, good. Meta, good. Oh, check that. Let me just cancel there. Correction on Meta. A couple of seconds ago, Meta was at the high of the day. I actually had an order set for a top break on Meta. Meta just failed the high, right back into some of the lows. So apparently Meta not as strong as it was 2 seconds ago. I swear it was green when I looked at it and I made that comment. Now all of a sudden it's red into a red market. Not looking good for the overall market today. But NVIDIA is doing nothing.
I just want to say a big shout out here to Brandon Townsend. Thank you so much for those kind words. I'm trading long while the index is short, shows how good I've gotten. Yeah, it's just, I still do trade with the market. I mean, it has nothing, this is just, I am very much support and resistance and then a catalyst trader. I mean, there's absolutely nothing else. I know the definition and what we're trying to do. So I'm just going to keep on doing that kind of stuff. And I really do appreciate you noticing that. So that, that means a lot. And again, it's just about trading, putting up these trades for you. Every single day, I feel like we have monster bangers for you. Apple there today. GameStop was 50 cents and looking real good there as well. All right, but now GameStop's trying to break lower. AMD, again, a decent spot there. And then I do want to obviously look at Tesla there because, yeah, talk about a tale of two stories there. One guy jealous about AI, the other team making that money on AI. One going one way, I'm banning your phones. The other one going the other way. But I still look, as a shareholder, I wish Tesla could finally get going here. It's starting to break lower. Every single person that we've had on the show pretty much has not liked Tesla. I honestly can't remember one person on the recap show that's really liked it. But anyways, Tesla continues to make moves lower here. And unfortunately, that bet is about to close itself off as 200 on Apple.
I think that's over.
I mean, yeah, I would say one is about a while away and one is $2.
Let's put it this way. If you were updating the odds on it, today would be a good day to cash out because you'd probably get like 99% payout. So you might as well just, if you could,
good cash
it's
out
not
day.
an actual bet, so it's not as if you could really cash out, but you 100% would be cashing out.
Well, you could cash out if you had the bet on. I mean, you could just punch out of Apple and maybe into Tesla. But
if it was a trade.
I don't know if you'd want to. I don't even know if you'd want to do that.
GM doesn't care. GM's at the highs.
Yeah, so GM is one stock that I don't mind selling at some point, but I don't really trade that stock right now on the show. But 169, I'm still trying to find a bottom here for Tesla. There was a level right here that came back on May 14th that is exactly 167.90. Let's call it 168. So if you're going to go long now on the stock, I would think that would be your stop. So then you'd have to have, and this is just the simple math. Remember, you say sometimes trading can be difficult. Let's try to make it a little easier for us. So again, if that stop is going to be 168.50 or whatever that level was that we just looked at, and you're taking the long now, then you got to try to take 50 cents long, right? So if that trade is there for you, then fine. I just don't think it is right now on Tesla. The long just doesn't look like it wants to bounce quite yet. So let's just wait to see. I'd almost rather break this long at 169.50, and then play off of this 169 local bottom. So that might be a play for me on Tesla if the market gets going again. But I might just stay with the king because, again, Apple right now, $4, and at its day high right there with the #1 trade idea today on this sticky note, and then GameStop still bouncing around. We may test some more longs right now on GME.
Yeah, I don't know about GME. Like it's holding 23. It's like at 22.90. I was thinking about getting back into it, but I'd like to see a little bit more strong buying. So we've got 69s on Tesla. It continues to flush to the downside. I just want to, like, at the end of the day, there's really no monster levels on this on the daily because it just made a flat bottom break, but the only thing left is 167.5.
Ooh, yeah.
So if it gets down there, I'm out of this name. At the end of the day, like it's clearly a downward trend. And now Rivian, which I thought was imminently breaking the $12. I'm going to throw that out for a little bit here. The good news for Rivian is it's not completely tanking, but that was on a good run and now falling to the wayside, unfortunately, in sympathy to Tesla. Mara, we got one leg out, but now it's trying to put in a higher low. I'm going to cancel this offer here in front of 18, and let's actually see it trend back in. It didn't quite get to 10% down, but I feel like it was very, very close. And if you bounce into VWAP, let's wait for an actual test of 18 to get any kind of a reload in Mara. So let's try to be patient with this name. NVDA is now tracking lower with the market. So pre-market lows coming into play 121 or 120 even, which I think is a better level. I think down in here, where it's supported in the afternoon, where it's supported in the morning, is much better. In a weak market, if you're looking for a long, let it get to the best price, not necessarily the first price, because this market is trending down. Bouncing off 19,000 on the NASDAQ, that's a big one. So you might catch a little bit of a bid here if 19,000 can hold.
Yeah, nice short there on Tesla as it's continuing to go lower and lower and lower. And then one name that we're now long at 158.60 that's about to lose 158 is AMD. Once AMD loses 158, I'm gone. Again, yeah, there it goes. That was a name that just fell out. Like, I don't know what was going on here with AMD today. We tried to fight the long back and we got it. So this trade was flat. It's this last sort of reload there. Again, we took a very small piece here. It was this one at 158.20 that we layered in right there. So we do wind up losing on AMD. So yeah, that's an L right there. We'll lose about a third of maybe what we made on Apple, but we still got a piece of Apple, so we'll have to add that in at some point. GameStop again on the reload. Let's go and see if GameStop wants to go back up. We just reloaded it at 90 and it just went 30 cents for us. Let's see if GameStop can go back a little bit now through those levels. Here comes NVIDIA. I'm gonna cancel NVIDIA shares right now for the long, just to see if it does get into 119. Don't need to be sitting there to get run over, but right now we will have to wait to see what's happening there. We still got the big boy on, that's Apple. Possible short of AMD now if we get back up through 158, but again, I've gotten really killed shorting AMD. So I feel like your trade there on Tesla
The problem with AMD,
probably the safest.
The problem with AMD is I find like whatever
We can try it.
when it gets this far to the downside,
There,
like
try
let it show. I just went to ARM. Why did I do this all the time where like I had ARM on my mind before you said it, so I'd already punched it. Like if I'm gonna short this stock, it's got to be on the way back up. I just don't want it at this bottom on the daily. Like this is the last line of support right here at $158 on the stock. Like I'd hate to be short at the Alamo, but it is absolutely dying on AMD. ARM was the one that I just had on my brain just now because it tried to break the high. If this loses $139,
Oh yeah, ARM.
like my first thought was, I thought this might be a flat bottom there. I was pretty close to saying this is going to be a trade idea, but then I felt bullish on NVIDIA. So we lose 100, it's 138.80. If ARM loses 138.80, I'm going short. That said, because I wasn't looking for a short here, I got to go pay for locates. They will be 1/8 of 1 cent for sure, I promise you that. Love real trading for that. It's very, very cheap locates for us, but you'd still have to pay it.
Yeah, exactly. I was saying that earlier about that Ethereum was for 1,000 shares, it was $1. And you know what? This is shout out to whoever talked about me being a changed man. Yeah, look, we're now short AMD. Like, so now if a level that I've done work on that I like breaks, we should be flipping the other damn way. So we'll try that right now as Apple right now is 450 now in the money as we just keep on spinning it on Apple, 198.50. Christmas comes early for Apple shareholders. And I mean, what a great move that was today. Look at this. Boom goes the dynamite there on Apple. I mean, 200 incoming. Again, just feel silly selling those shares early, but we didn't know, and like I was saying, there's equally as many people, were thinking one way as the other for Apple. So we'll wait to see. Okay, right now AMD, forget about everything I was just talking about for Apple because we don't have as many shares on that right now. But we are print city now on AMD. Flip it over and reverse it. Shout out to Missy Elliott right there because we reversed this game hard on AMD. And there it goes right down to the downside. This is how you turn a red stock into what, Neil? A green stock. And there it is right there. Nice move back in for AMD. 70 cents now in the money. We like the stock short.
Yeah, we gotta love these shorts. That said, I'm out of one of them. We had a target on on Tesla. It did wick through that 68 level. 67.5 was going to be the spot for me. So when I see it get to that level, I'm looking to short pops. If we get back to 170, we'll take the next trade. It just has to be what it is. It's absolute flush city. The market, however, and another reason why I wanted to get out is this bounce off 19,000. So I felt if we were bouncing off 19,000, it was a good spot to start covering. And that was a pretty big bid off of the 19,000 level for the NASDAQ overall. So I'm jumping out of that Tesla tree. Doesn't mean it has to go in, but just trying to stay focused, right? In the morning, you're going to get that opening rush. It's been a good one so far. This is where, when it gets to 10, go back to base ideas, look for new entry points, but you want to stay in the pocket focused. We got one level to the next, and then we'll now hunt for the next trade. So now I can get in that calm down mode. I think it'll be Mara and possibly GameStop back at 23. I'm not back into the stock But if you look at it, it did just hold 4 times at 22.80, or 3 or 4 times at 22.80. I think it's caught a bid just underneath the support level of 23. So looking a little better off of that level. Never got VWAP to be able to short. And Mara making a bounce as well, back into the 18 area. We're going to reshort that one.
All right. Apple is now, I mean, stink face. Luka Doncic stink face. Everything. I mean, this is the Luka, this is the Joker, this is the absolutely every stock, every player, well, I mean, not unretired players. Right now, nice move to the upside as Apple right now is $5 in the money and still going. Amazing, we got a $5 winner there. We're trying to break 157 here, trying to put damage on the board right now. And it's too bad that we didn't get more shares of all of these names as there goes. Wow, Neil, this is what kind of a day, honestly. Neil with that great short there in Tesla.
Perfect day.
Perfect day so far. All right, cheers it up. Perfect day so far.
Well, no.
Here, cheers.
No, it's going to...
Hey, you jinxed it, my guy.
No, I jinxed it because Mara's back at 18.
Guys.
So we'll see. It's been a good one so far, but 18 right back on the offer.
I mean, Apple's going to see 2 bills before we get back from Madeira, most likely. I mean, there it goes. Apple is real nice. Ramin wins again. You know, all the women in my life are just always just one-upping me every single time. You know, my daughter, I just shot 300 pucks outside. Ramin, I called this play on Apple, and yes, you did, and we are very, very happy for it. Another one, are we ready to go? Is ready at the desk. It's Miss Adara.
Bit of a weak start to the day here for both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. We are, of course, waiting on the FOMC decision coming tomorrow at 2 p.m., followed by comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. So market definitely waiting to see what we get there. NASDAQ a little bit stronger than the SPY here, led by a great performance from Apple as its WWDC 2024 event does continue. But quite a few stocks to watch out for as well. We did have some sell-off in some of these names, but strong catalyst for On Holdings here, getting a outperform rating from Bernstein, a $15 price target. Right now, ON currently up about 2.5%. So nice look for that name. Another upgrade here as well from Shopify. Steady upward movement here after bouncing off support, getting this JP Morgan upgrade to overweight with its overweight rating and a $74 price target, SHOP. Good look. And last but not least, of course, we do have Affirm. This one also having an Apple-related catalyst here, AFRM, up about 5% right now. Apple announcing that Affirm's payment products should be available for Apple Pay users in the U.S. later in 2024. So nice look for AFRM. Quite a few catalysts to keep an eye out for today, guys.
Wow, this is amazing. Apple right now, I mean, I'm not even focused anymore, really. I've canceled all my offers everywhere. I'm just watching this thing go. I mean, here goes 200. I mean, is this a break or is this a break? I mean, 200 incoming ASAP. We just have a $6 winner on right now as this continues to go. Yesterday, we had equivalent of 40 or 50 there on NVIDIA. It was only $3 on NVIDIA yesterday. $3 one way, $4 the other way on NVIDIA, but here it comes right up to 200. I mean, this could easily just be a sell spot right now, but I mean, it just continues to go higher and higher and higher and higher. So do we punch 200 long? That's going to be the question. Do you punch 200 long, Neil?
I said yesterday that I was going to scalp it short.
Yeah.
But that was yesterday on the event. I thought it was a sell the news, so I would have shorted it if it got to 200. At 10 o'clock, I'm not shorting a $200 level at 10. At 12 o'clock, I probably would, because I think it would be a little bit more calm. So I'm looking for a pullback. Like I just say, if it's going to pull back off 200, then use that as an opportunity to buy instead of an opportunity to short it. Because I would hate to get run and then your stop is not 10s, it's like 25 or something, and you think you're risking 10 cents or 15 cents like you usually would on an Apple break, but you might be risking 30 or 40. It is way more thin than I'm used to on this stock. Usually use a lot more to the level, so I don't know what slippage is going to be on Apple. So I'm not shorting this level. I'm looking for a dip on it. I said I might have jinxed Mara. I probably jinxed it. It just broke VWAP in. So the trade we really would have loved was 19. I think we talked about that. If it gets back up anywhere near those pre-market lows, 1860, 1870, I still think it's going to be a bit of a fade up there. Tesla for now was a good idea to get out, but it's barely bouncing. So it did bounce, a couple of green candles. VWAP will be 170, so we want to reload at 170 if we can grab that short. And then the chip names, you already have AMD up. NVIDIA, no problem. NVIDIA holds on to pre-market low there. I thought maybe we'd see 120 in that flush into 19.
Yeah.
But still, NVIDIA barely red on the session and looking to hold some of these highs. Last one for you, Meta, right back up. Can't seem to break out this 53 yet. But I feel like this is coming for Meta. It's pulling back right now. I just feel like this is coming. In a weak market, it's also red to green at 502.60. So if it takes out this top, I think Meta's got some room to run here. Play a little catch up. It did the heavy lifting yesterday. Now it's Apple doing some of the early heavy lifting. Meta can get back on board once it goes green. But you got to wait for it to break this 03 top.
We do have, shout out here to Tyrone. Done for the day. He's taking his Apple Pay and running away. So big bang there. Congratulations. That is awesome. There, Tyrone. Congratulations. I was just offering $199.75 and canceled it because I was like, I don't want to get out. I don't want to get out. But I don't know. I feel like there could be a spot for that as well at some point there for Apple, where you don't want to see this bang its head up here again. It's 52 and all-time high for Apple is 60s, right? It was 160. Have some other stock on my mind. I don't know which one. 199.62. That's probably what it was. 199.62 past high. As you can now see, we fly high, no lie, because Apple is ballin' and continues to go higher. Good look to Jim Jones there. All right, so we did reshort some AMD. We did get stopped out on that 158 break there, but again, it did, once we got stopped out there, it was on the 158 break, so wherever, right there. Hold on, man, I can just zoom in a little bit to show you right there. So there's the stop out, so there's the short. We took $1, we got out, not $1, we took 70 cents or so, down at 157 and change. Then it just ripped back up. See how we did not average in? So again, sound the alarm, because normally I would have averaged back in. We waited. Now we could still get stopped out, but we waited for this pop to happen in AMD back through 158 again to reshort the name, which is why we're able to be now short right here. And even though we're dancing around a little bit, I'm going to put, I was going to say new high in Apple. Obviously, we just talked about that. But I just want to make sure that we do get something out on AMD. Let's sit at 158. It just bounced off there 3 times, 158. So if we crank lower, we'll still have a lot of shares on board. But with Apple pushing now, again, we only have 5% left of this, so I feel like that's important to talk about too. Most of our outs, we had a great out there at 196.50, great out at 197, and just waiting to see what happens now. Maybe 199 breakdown, we should be able to get out of Apple. But for right now, more focus on AMD for me, but it's holding 158. Let's go find out what Adara has to say.
Just be aware here for AAPL, this analyst note from Needham circulating around X right now, basically saying that they do not think that consumers will necessarily buy iPhones faster than currently projected. So they're saying that regardless of what happened in this keynote, it quote unquote fizzled because it doesn't actually speed up iPhone sales based on, again, what these Needham analysts have to say. So slightly negative note on Apple from Needham circulating around Twitter right now, guys.
I mean,
Needham needs more shares apparently.
We are now $1 in the money. I mean, if you don't trade Apple, it's too expensive, yada, yada, yada. Are you trading GameStop with me? We have 2 longs down there on GameStop, both at posted sticky note levels of $23. Let's see what we can do right now as we will, fuel our inner roaring kitty. Does that make sense? Right there, and see if we can hold on for a little bit of a ride here.
But he doesn't take profit.
In GME, yeah. I've already taken some profit there, so whether or not that's smart or dumb, so far it's cost me money today because it did make that high move all the way to the 200 period. But like I said, most of my focus right now, stop it, AMD. Honestly, man, this is not, okay, just took something out at 10 there. All right, come on. Here we go. Yes. All right, good. Oh, you tricky little devil, you. As AMD does not want to break 158, but when it does, I believe it will be terrific and fantastic. So let's wait to see if that does happen. We are covering more there because no matter what I think is going to happen, it doesn't want to go down. It doesn't look like. So let's wait. I mean, I'm thinking another flush imminent on AMD just because it's been weak today and because I look over at his partner in crime and I'm kind of seeing a breakdown on this as well.
NVIDIA might be
not trying, I mean, trying to hold 122, but a breakdown of NVIDIA should send this one screaming down. All right, here it is again. I am chasing P&L. Every time we get lower and I go in the money because of the share size, I do tend to scalp a little bit out, which does burn me when there is a bigger move. But right now, $1 GME, $5, $6 in Apple, and see? Waiting for AMD, which just bounced again.
Okay, why is ARM at the high of the day?
So fine, now I can forget about AMD.
ARM's at the high of the day. Like
was crazy.
I am done making sense of this stock when I think it's going to go to the downside. I just paid for locates in case it joined everything else and flushed through this bottom. And instead, this wants the high of the day. I'm back into Tesla. I'm going to get to Meta in a second, but Tesla just came back into 169. So there it is, 169 for a couple of minutes, 5 minutes. Shorted it back underneath. I would have played VWAP if it had gone to VWAP. Obviously, it did not get there, so you short the next available pop. If it gets to the low, I still think that's a decent support level. Now we can get over to Meta. Meta was a break at 503. I didn't get the break. I missed the breakout. I put 11s instead of 21, so I didn't get the fill on the way through, but I got it on the way back, scalped some on the first move. It did make a curl little 5s that I tried to grab out, but I don't love the look of this. If it doesn't get back above 504, then you have a failed break off the 04 after this move on 3. So if it doesn't get back into this 5 to give me my profit, I don't think I want to be holding this past 502.50 was the original stop. I'm going to actually tighten that up to about 75 here on Meta. Meta's still strong. It's green on the day. Looks like it's going to be making a bit of a run. ARM, I'm not trying to short anymore because it's entirely too strong. You know, I have to make sense of it. Like NVIDIA looked like it was giving it up, and ARM, NVIDIA came back down. ARM was still at the high of the day. Relatively strong, not going to fight.
Yeah, I am back fighting with AMD again. This time we're actually taking it out. As we did get stopped out, we talked about, it was like, oh, finally we're out of AMD, but yeah, we just looking for some more pain, so we got back in. We've been covering it here at O's. I'm just trying to take this 2020. I'm gonna take it one more time. If we can get an 06 again to try to take 20 cents or so on this, and then just get out of Dodge on this one. Nah, it's not good. I just keep looking over and NVIDIA's not doing anything. So I'm always thinking that this name wants to drop, but it might be the other way. We just could be at such a key level for AMD that we should probably just leave it alone and maybe even go long on a potential break for that one. Apple's still looking for 200. All right, AMD, honestly, just bounced off the 200 period of 121.50. That's probably good to go. Let me put on a little bit here for this to see that price level there for NVIDIA. Again, the market's trying to go a little bit, and we know there's going to be some selling there. Let's just try a little piece going through right now. Again, VWAP and the 50 period. We do have some kind of support. I don't know if we want to wait for that. Might be a little too low, but we do know that there is some volatility involved with NVIDIA. So let's try this back to 121. So let's buy the 200 period instead of using it as a sell spot. And then if we lose 121, then we'll get out of it. I mean, we are kind of playing with house money here with Apple, but again, you don't want to throw bad money after good. So we still want to make sure that we're making good calls. We do know that this one could go, but look at the good call with this.
That's why. Because
yeah, there's GameStop
every
right
single
now.
smartphone.
Yeah, ARM is great. There goes GME, nice move again, up to today's high, $1.50 in the money there. So let's not fret on AMD, but let's just watch out for GameStop.
Yeah, watch out. Like, I still think I'm going to look for a short there. It hasn't really reached a level. It's getting pretty close, but Meta doesn't seem like it wants to hold above 504. It's a tight consolidation up here, but the next stop might be VWAP, but I'm not holding this into VWAP. Like I said, if it breaks this $0.50, we're just going to jump out of the trade, look for that top if it can go, but it's just not there yet. The Apple break is looking a little bit better now. Like generally speaking, I prefer a breakout that consolidates up here. Like when it's going parabolic into the move, then you're punching a high into a parabolic mover, which I don't like. But if I can catch along back through 200 when it's trending into it, that's a little better. And if it does what NVIDIA did, I think you just have to be patient. When I say what NVIDIA did, NVIDIA held 1200 for 90 minutes. 90 minutes. You couldn't go to the bathroom. You couldn't get up from your screen. Meta just came out through that 502.5, so we're flat on that trade now. You couldn't do anything except wait, and it was worth it. it was easy to have missed that trade because you just couldn't sit there with your stop for longer than an hour and a half. But I think today it might be worth it on Apple. So it's going to go in now, but whenever it happens, it could happen at 2 o'clock, it could happen at 3 o'clock. If it happens at 4 o'clock, no bueno. But this Apple 200 is probably a crowded trade. It doesn't mean you don't take it.
All right. Yeah, we are in some no bueno trade right now with NVIDIA because it just dropped 50 cents. So let's wait to see what happens. Actually, do I even have my stop in right now? No, this came out real quick. All right, so let's wait to see what winds up happening here as it looks like we are trying to break lower right now on NVIDIA. Average price 121.50. Yeah, it's breaking. So as NVIDIA goes, again, remember so I've been getting thrown around with trying to short NVIDIA against, or short AMD against NVIDIA's strength, and now it's kind of the other way around because AMD is kind of holding up right now at 158.50. Meanwhile, NVIDIA, the split adjusted name, coming right back in now and testing that 121. If this fails, we're just going to have to go sticky note again and wait for 119 because, again, I'm not surprised there's some selling right now in NVIDIA. I mean, it's up 2,800% in 5 years. It's up huge just most recently. So there it goes. And by the way, Apple Watch is on. Brendan, Apple up $6 right now, trying to break 200. There goes, come on, NVIDIA. Let's go. Nice move back. Let's take something out on this move back upside if we can. There it is. We'll take some 46s. Go, go, go. GameStop right now. Let's go. Fabian, clip this right now. GameStop up $3 and we are long. This is the biggest move in a minute on GameStop. Nice move on GME starting to go. This is a level from today's sticky note. Let's go GameStop. We are starting to pop up now on GME. Has he roared again? We are seeing an upside move in AMC as well. GME, we on it, baby. There it goes. Katina Capital with the price target of 23. Now starting to go upside right now. Let's keep on halting, baby. We like to halt. We like to halt a lot. There's a little bit of money coming through on GameStop. Let's see what. Halt. Yeah, we're on it. Let's see what winds up happening right here. It's real trading, and it is GameStop.
By the way, at the exact same moment, Apple's at the $200 level. So I've got level 2 up, AMC, GameStop, Apple. Those are the three big ones. 200 imminently breaking. There's about, I don't want to count it. It's like 1 million shares on the offer, 1.1, 1.2 million shares on the offer. However, if GameStop is going to a down halt, no, that's an up halt. Okay.
Yeah, man, this is $3 right now in the money. So we've got $6 in the money on Apple. We've got $3 in the money on GameStop. NVIDIA's trying to go. Let's go with AMC now short over here and Intel short. We've got longs and we've got shorts. That's what this show's all about. That's why we're in this desk right now. Let's start face slapping. There goes Apple breaking through. We're now $6 plus in the money on Apple. Nice move on Apple. There's the fake break on that one. Man, it's good to be trading today. Let's go big time. We don't know what's for lunch, but when we get it, we'll give it to you. What a good day to trade here today. This has been fun, needless to say.
Yeah, that was a wild break on Apple. It was a ridiculous amount of volume. Breakout trade, I'm going to be either works right away, it doesn't. So I got 4s long and then out 94. So like very, very quick on that. So actually, thank goodness for the stop orders, because the initial move, you could have lost like 50 or 60 cents on it if you don't have a stop. So I had my stop set in there right away. I went AMC off the $5 level right now because it got to 5. We said we shorted at the 5. I want to quickly show you, even though you don't have a tap value on GameStop, what you can look at is simply the actual imbalance. Let's see if I can find it here. I want to see the paired volume. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I actually don't even see GameStop in there. It should be showing an indicator. It is. So it's about a 71,000 buy. When it went crazy the last time, this was a pretty decent indicator for where it was going to open. Not how far, but the direction it was going to open. But that was small. Over 100,000 usually meant it was going to be big, and under 100,000 meant it was going to be a small move. So based on that, I went over to AMC because I'm not shorting GameStop when it's going completely parabolic, and just got into the short. I got out of half when it went into the halt band, but this was a level I was looking to short regardless. I also went over to BlackBerry just in case. So there is no tap value on GameStop. It's looking like an exactly flat reopen, but it is indicating a small buy imbalance. The last time this happened, it did mean an open higher, so watch out for that. Intel's a short off VWAP, but the bigger names are going to be what Apple does if it can regain that 200, and of course AMC in reflection of this GME move.
All right, I just appreciate all the love there in the chat. Thank you. Make sure you go and hit the like and subscribe so you're watching this show every damn day because, I mean, you never know what's going to happen on the show. And I mean, today, just for a perfect example, I mean, some of these trades that we have on board here, GME, $3, Apple, that huge trade there on Apple. And I like Neil's play there, punching long, then punching out immediately. I mean, that's what it's all about, trading different styles. And I didn't take that break there on Apple. I was debating taking it. But again, we've seen that happen a couple times. So I kind of hold off on that play. But for right now, we'll sit here and we'll watch. NVIDIA's having a problem at 121. So that looks like it's going to give it up right now immediately as well, kind of on that Apple fail. So let's wait to see what happens here with NVIDIA making a move lower. Apple trying to go. GameStop still halted. May or may not be open when we get back, but we got to go over and see what's up with Adara at the desk. It's only 10:20. Lots more happening right now, guys. All right, Miss A, what's going on with you?
During a time where we have lots of moves in names like GameStop and Apple, it's a little bit slower for these small caps. We do have IWM slightly down in the day, trying to recover a little bit from its base, but still pretty weak right now. A lot of these small caps are going to be a little bit more range bound or not as catalyst driven, including Brush Oral Care. So this one up about 13%, no catalyst for BRSH. Market cap of around $1.7 million, so pretty small market cap for this penny stock here. Next up, we do have AISP. This one actually does have a catalyst up about 30% for Airship AI, having a six-figure DOJ contract with regards to its data management platform for enterprises. So nice look for AISP. Last but not least, we do have PIXY. This is going to be Shift Pixie. This one up about 20%, a little bit more range bound, falling a bit to the downside, but still slightly up on the day. Small float, around 1.8 million shares for PIXY. So again, not as exciting of a small cap day as we have these big moves in AAPL and GME, guys.
I mean,
so quickly, I punched out of AMC. The GME imbalance went from 70,000 to buy to 180,000 to the buy side now. So it's actually growing to the buy, 200,000. It's continuously growing. That was enough for me to punch out of AMC. I had 94 short. I punched out at 92. So it was actually still in the money, the short on AMC. But like, why would I? Like, why? If this opens higher in like $27 and challenges 28, which by the way is a big level on its own, you don't need to be sitting in the short. If the way to play this generally that's worked is to wait for GameStop to be turning and then short it. So we'll wait for that to happen. It should be open. There it goes. I was about to say it should have been open
26.
already. But it's opening at 26, which is slightly higher. It was 25.90 something. So it is opening higher. I think it was a good out because AMC is probably going to break 5 if it holds 26 even.
All right, Jarhead, I appreciate it, but Jarhead says here, Sean Katina for president, but unfortunately, my friend,
now, oh my goodness!
you know, we can't do for pres. We gotta just hold on there, and we gotta be for prime minister. But then I don't speak French, although my wife speaks French, so she could be the first lady. That is for sure. All right, so here we go. It doesn't look like NVIDIA wants to break higher. Looks like just lower. So we're long at 21.30. I mean, we could get out now for 20-cent hit. That's not what we're doing. We're going to wait for 121 to break, which looks like that is imminent now. I mean, it just keeps on. Oh, maybe if I zoom in just a little bit more, it'll help you see. It just keeps on wanting to like test these bottoms, and we are just pennies away from breaking that. And again, I'm trying to treat NVIDIA the way it deserves. Like, it can move a lot. And I just don't want to be holding this on the break lower. Now, I don't know if it's going to break. I mean, we're trading support and resistance levels. And again, I feel like there isn't too many, other than the big dog, Apple, which we've talked about, not too many tech names that I want to go long as much as NVIDIA on any kind of a drop. So, you know, I like the stock. It's flat now. So right there, as much as I talk about this position, you could get out for flat right now if you don't like this 121 long. And in fact, now, ring the register a little bit. I will get something out at 50 if we do go back up to the upside, just so I can try to get that 1-to-1. But other than that, this does not look super promising right now for NVIDIA. It tries to go and stops pretty much every single time. So we'll wait on that. And then GameStop, as we might have heard Neil mention, is pulling back just a wee bit.
So You know, we always talk about like your style of trade. So at the end of the day, I'm a person that is always going to try to get out if it looks bad, right? Like if I have a reason for being in and it violates that reason, I'm going to get out of the trade. So I like the short off 5 on AMC. But when GameStop was indicating a growing buy imbalance and all that euphoria during the halt, I elected to punch out at 92. GameStop opened up, looked like it was holding 26, and broke down. At that point, you know, you're going to see that clearly it would have pulled back into VWAP on AMC. But at the end of the day, you've got to follow your terms. If it's going to squeeze, it could have gone to 28. It could go to 30. I just don't want to be fighting it. But the next time GameStop does a push up and then a flush, we're going to try and short it again. Apple is very likely making another test of while all that was happening. There might have been an opportunity to dip buy in Apple, but I had the level 2 up dedicated to AMC and GameStop in the moment. Looks like it wants to make another run at 200. If it breaks I'm going to take this break again. If it makes a fresh high on Apple, I'm going to take a break a second time. I'll give it at least 3 tries to break out from the 200 level on Apple today. And if it doesn't ever work, then at least that was one of the biggest levels you could have on a fresh top in Apple. If we don't get VWAP, then I think the breakout is still going to be in play for AAPL. I'm not really sure what the deal is with NVIDIA, but it is a pretty range-bound bottom, 121. Like it's holding that pretty decently. I keep thinking 120 is going to be the thing, and it's not. And then just one more for you.
Oh, you
ARM
son of a gun.
doesn't care. This is still super strong. If Apple breaks a fresh high, I think ARM is going to see 145 pretty easily.
All right, come on, NVIDIA, man. I mean, that's what we were just talking about there for a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what it's doing at 121. It did break, and we got out, and then I bought more, and then we just covered some again in the 30s. If this breaks too much lower below this 120, then 121, then we are going to flip out and be gone from that. It's kind of like that Apple trade where you broke 121 and then came right back. It's kind of like breaking 200 and going right back down again. So 121, again, remember, times 10, 12,100. So it's a big level, and those of you that were trading NVIDIA, I mean, looking at a daily chart, ours doesn't quite work out well for the daily because we don't split adjust, but if you're looking back here at NVIDIA on eSignal, which does, oh man, we have a bad little wick up there on this one as well. We'll have to try to get that fixed. But again, I can't get that. This is eSignal. Hard to look at it on the daily with that wick there.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for that. So we'll just have to hold on as now you're starting to break below 121.
Here comes Apple again.
Apple's coming in and NVIDIA's going the other way.
So, like, if Apple breaks a high, I'm going to go back into it. Oh, GameStop just lost. All right, I have a level 2 dedicated to that, but the one I'm going to show is GameStop just lost 25s. I would love to be able to get 90s or something close to the 90 level on AMC. I'm back on the offer of AMC. I just don't know if we're going to be able to get it. Underneath 25, I do like it. As long as GameStop is under 25, I still like the short on AMC off of those highs. Apple's so close. There's always a part, like if you're a mean reversion trader, you're probably short this. And I couldn't even argue if someone's like, oh, you should be shorting the 200 level here. Because it rejected it once. It could easily reject it again, and then you get a scalp dollar. Like you could have held a short there, gotten a dollar like here, gotten a dollar there, and maybe you get a dollar a third time. I just find when it gets to a big price level, I want to pick one direction. This is from what happened a year ago at 180 on Apple. I remember scalping it short for an hour, like a lot of people were doing. I reversed into the long, and on a single false break, lost everything I'd made in that hour. So if I just stuck with the one direction, which was a short, it would have been absolutely fine. But I decided to flip in the other way. And sometimes the one that you have convictions on, the better. So I want a high break, which is now 34s. It's not 200 even. So if it makes a fresh high, I am in.
Here we
and
go.
it's trying to make that fresh high. If it holds 200, great. If it doesn't, then we're going to take a hit again on this breakout trade for AAPL. Still nothing in AMC. I'll let you guys. If I get the short, it's off AMC in the 5s with GameStop still at about 25 even.
Yeah, GME's trying to figure itself out as well at that level. But yeah, there goes Apple. Let's go, man. Now almost $7 and trying to print higher. Good trade there, breaking through 200. And again, it's those second-time chances. I mean, that's like this is what we mean. It's only 10:30. There's going to be lots of opportunities. I mean, if you traded big shares there, you could make up for missing this whole move. Because again, 60 cents, 1,000 shares is the same as catching a $3 move, 100 shares or 200 shares. But anyways, good move up right there for Apple up through 200. And there it goes, man. We're still long at 194. I mean, Apple, that bet you can now wrap that up. Fail for anybody that said Tesla, because there's Apple through 200 clean and easy this time, all the way through $1. I'm glad to still be holding it, but yeah, good punch there, Neil. I like that punch long on Apple. I mean, who would have thought we were getting to this level today?
GameStop's going again.
Yeah, good thing for GameStop as that's tried to go bouncing off 24.50. So yeah, we're pretty comfortable right now. It's just NVIDIA's been throwing us for a loop here as now it wants to go back up. So now we're in the short breaking 121. AMD and NVIDIA are going to be our two red stocks here today, as we've been misreading on those ones and should have just stayed long. Of course, Apple, $7 now on Apple in the money on that call. But again, AMD and NVIDIA sort of throwing your boy for a loop. So let's see what happens here. We're now short more NVIDIA.
NVIDIA, oh my goodness. I said if ARM, look, ARM's probably broken out, but we just got to 201, so the scalp portion of a breakout trade is done on Apple. I punched in and out of AMC there, so just to quickly show you, it's the only thing I had orders on that wasn't Apple. That's because, again, I get out of AMC exactly when the trade probably works, but I punched out for a half-cent loss because GameStop reclaimed. I mean, at the time, GameStop did this and held 25 even. So I'm like, if my reason for going short in AMC was GameStop going down, GameStop went up. So twice now I've been pump faked and head faked out of a short in AMC when GameStop doesn't even matter. Maybe I shouldn't care about that relationship because that's twice that I've been fooled on a good-looking AMC short because of what was happening in GameStop. So let's go over to the desk. I have no idea where Bitcoin is at, but I'm guessing it's not up.
It's at 67.
Let's find out, Adara.
67.
Not much positive to say in the world of Bitcoin right now, unfortunately. We did have this drop below into that $67,000 level, actually briefly dropping at one point below $67,000 for BTC. This actually follows $65 million in outflows for these cumulative outflows for the spot Bitcoin ETFs that happened on Monday. $65 million. It's actually the first outflows that we've had apparently for these spot Bitcoin ETF since May 23rd. So pretty notable drop there for Bitcoin and the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We do have Bitcoin continuing to find resistance every time we get to the $72,000 level. This is our fifth time now and our second time in less than a month rejecting this level. So nice continued move down here for BTC below that $67,000 level into 66.9 right now, down about 4%. Ethereum also down about 4%. Just holding on to this 3,500 level right now is ETH. A lot of these other crypto names basically going to be weak across the board. We do have BNB down about 5.5%, Solana down about 4.5%. Ripple down about 3.25%. Dogecoin down 3.25%. Cardano, Shiba Inu. The weakness goes on and on. Not a great day for these cryptocurrency names, guys.
They're bouncing a little bit here, some of them. Coinbase back to 240. Mars back to 1840. It's only down 5%. It was down 10%. So Mara, look, I like to short off 19. That was the plan of action. We shorted off 18. First time good, second time no bueno. That's actually my worst stock, but by a fraction. It's really not a big hit, but we want to look short this name. It's still underneath huge support on the daily. Like there it is. It's failing the 50 period. So I think VWAP would obviously have made sense earlier. Now the pre-market low looks like it's a bit of a jam. So 1850 just got tagged, but the market's flying right now. I know Meta's making a move. Oh, GameStop's making another move into the downside.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, I might have missed. I think I missed my chance on AMC above 90s, but it's not really falling here. So I'll probably take one more shot at this at 90 and just say either breaks the high or not. Like either GameStop goes parabolic or this thing breaks the high, but I don't want to chase the short into the 80s. I think that doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. So just making a quick adjustment there on AMC. Yeah, there we go. So the 50 level is where I want to try to take the next stop on Mara. You're still weak in Bitcoin. I still feel as if this is underneath that support level. Good bounce. It didn't quite go 10% down, but it was certainly close enough on Mara.
What's up to Tim is in. I definitely appreciate right there that comment. And like I say, man, I just hope that you guys can see the trades that are going through here and then sort of the plan of action. I mean, I know you can see the trades, but it's about getting in so that we can all have very similar ideas and hopefully very similar successes, right? I mean, we reversed into the short of NVIDIA. We put the largest notional trade on that I've had for a while. I mean, we had some big ones yesterday, but definitely today with this NVIDIA short rate now. So we're trying to capture some out right now. There it goes. Yes, let's go NVIDIA right now. Hopefully makes that move down as, I don't know. I mean, if I like 119 long, maybe I like the short where we are right now. So let's see, as money coming out of crypto, money coming out a little bit of some of these names, let's just take more advantages. I'm bidding 50s right now. Maybe 50s is too big of a level. Let me just punch a little bit more out. This is what happens again. When you take more shares, you have more options to get out. So my problem is that because I take, again, and this is everybody's problem is their own. When we lose, it sucks because we have a lot of shares. You guys know that. But then when you're in the money, this is my problem. It's like, oh, I have a lot of tranches I could possibly make. But look at that. There it goes, NVIDIA to the bank and back right now. Shout out to Tim Duncan. The bank has been opened right now on NVIDIA on the downside move. I really do appreciate all of the talk here today, man. Apple, $7 in the money, not much else. And I saw Sharif, and he immediately, and to talk about what he says, man, he always says, I appreciate you, but I appreciate that, Sharif, comes over immediately, and he knew what was good with this Apple trade, as he and I have been talking about buying this name at some of these bottoms. And we were pretty lucky to do that. Big, huge, green candle upside there today. And as we said, man, I mean, I really like the NASDAQ these days, and it just continues to print out. But hey, man, on a big, big move down, it's NVIDIA. And what's up to Brittany? Because we did it again right now. It is $1 in the money for the short now on this NVIDIA trade, and it's a juiced up one.
It's definitely getting juiced. For sure.
Juice is loose.
Well, the juice is...
I'm going to go grab a coffee. You good?
Unfortunately, the juice is free in the wrong way. But it is what it is, man. He's free. But Tesla's back to 170. I'm good for a coffee. I appreciate it. Thank you for offering. I try not to drink the coffee like after like 10:30, you know, getting into the end. But Tesla's about to break 170 in the other direction. So what was weak is now strong, and what is strong is now weak. I feel like that's the case with NVIDIA going the other direction. But Tesla... if we can fail 170 again, that's where I'd look for the short. We're in Mara. I've got the last piece of Apple. The Apple breakout trade, we've already taken the scalp levels. It just tagged to a 1.5. Now it either holds 200 or not. If you fail 200, I'm getting out. If it holds it, I just want to see it hold the trend into the upside. I'm not thinking, CompuCare team, I'm not really thinking long on Tesla yet. So... yeah, like it's still downward trend. I know it made a hard bottom, but it's lower highs, it's resistance at the 170 level. I'm not at the point that I'm thinking along on this. The last trade we got was Mara on this wick into 18.5. So we got the short, then held lower high. We added to it. If it makes a fresh high since the open, which will be like right in here at the 50 level, it's an easy out. Want to make sure we're adhering to the out, so that's where the stop is. Every trade, you make a trade to get in, have yourself an out. Very, very important. Like you can like a direction, and I like the short in Mara, but if we didn't have an out through VWAP, we'd still be holding this one against us. If we don't have an out here and it gets to 19, then I'm just carrying one trade from one level to another and turning it into an Apple, to a monster loss. So I don't want to do that. I want to try to stay in the pocket on these names. I did say if Apple broke the top, ARM probably gets to 145. Not quite, but ARM's still trending to the upside. And so I kind of said a little bit earlier, I don't know why ARM's going up. I don't know why. That's kind of nonsense. ARM their technology is in every single small device. Tablets, phones, because it's power efficient. So a super upgrade cycle for Apple is actually fantastic for ARM. And it's a very relatively low float because not a lot of the shares are available. So it's kind of squeezing to the upside. Not a short squeeze, but it's still kind of like a low float squeeze. So that's the respect for it. AMD might be making some power moves up. I still feel like that might be a bit of a short. And if you're still watching GME, yeah, that was a good curl. It's already back into VWAP. I never got back into AMC. Unfortunately, you'll see it kind of trending back in itself. So GameStop, I don't know what caused that euphoria to give it the up halt, but that was top on GME, right back into VWAP. I don't mind VWAP holds, but I got to see it hold VWAP. Bit of a nasty retracement there. Never want to buy these parabolic tops. That's the way I look at it. You'd rather see it give you a dip buy, which it might be doing here off VWAP, but I'm not punching long until I see some actual green and some buyers joining the move in GameStop. Kind of came out of nowhere, but you got to react to what you see. overall in this market. So NVIDIA still trending down. That $120 level about to come into play. We took the Tesla break and it worked. NVIDIA 1200 is 120, so you know that was a big level on the way up. Is it going to be able to hold in here today? So far it's bouncing, but the market's at the top and this is at the lows. And that means it's relatively weak, and I can't be looking for longs in stocks that are relatively weak. I just don't want to do it. So we're going to have to back away from the notion of a long on NVIDIA. Sometimes the best trade you make is the one that you don't make. So we're in kind of hold mode at this point. Like the best you can do if you're not in early. Like I like 92s. We never got a chance at 92s. The 200 break was the only available trade that set up for me risk reward. So we're going to hang on to Apple. Meta's still going. Microsoft, which we haven't even remotely talked about here. Microsoft is absolutely flying. You're wondering why is the market about to go green? Because you have all of these big names, load, load, load. Microsoft about to break highs and go green on its own. So yesterday's top, about 50 cents away on Softy, and then you're in some rarefied air for this stock as well. Only a couple of dollars away from its 52-week top. That's what's carrying this market toward those highs as we go to Sector Watch to find out what else is moving.
What's up with that?
There are not a lot of positive moves to speak of on the sector watch right now. As you can see, AAPL very strong as the WWDC continues cracking above $200, making new all-time highs. A couple positive names as well in this electronic or this tech services sector. Sorry, CRM, PANW, a couple of these names positive, and it is also worth keeping an eye on Oracle, ORCL, within the technology services sector. They're actually reporting tonight, so stay tuned for Oracle's report. A lot of weakness, though, across the board. Bank sector, all these bank names and finances, notably weak. JPM, BAC, also some weakness in PayPal as well in commercial services. So keep an eye on some of these bank-related names. We do have some weakness as well across the board in health technology, producer manufacturing, energy minerals, consumer durables, and commercial services. So again, not a lot of positive sectors to speak in. A little bit more flat, though, in utilities and consumer non-durables. Retail trade as well. There are a couple positive or flat names. So let's keep an eye on. Most of it's going to be to the downside, guys.
Right now. I was just saying to Neil, or to Patrick, actually. Patrick was bigging up the GME trade, so that's now $2 in the money. So thank you so much for that one, Patrick. That's another one right there. And I said, you know what, man? The one that I like more, obviously, was this, because you guys might say, you know, this guy keeps on talking about the sticky note, and obviously most of our viewers know exactly what that is. But if you are a first-time watcher, subscriber, all of that, we put this note out early, and it's right here. Let ChatGPT do it. We attached on there. Here's the note here. We sat down here. I said, Ramin, when are you upgrading? Everybody was talking about how great Apple was. And I was like, oh, hell yeah, I am probably the most excited. And then we said, we want to go long. We want to go long. Super cycle iPhone right here. Apple 193.50 long break. That happened in the pre-market. We'll take the long 194. Love, 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 love. You want to see my DMs? No. Oh, right here by Nimit. Oh, yeah, that's fine. We don't have to show up, but what's up to Nimit? Thank you for that. All right, Apple right here. I always get so many messages. I have to clear them out, but shout out to that. Apple right there. AMD long. We'll watch out for that. Oh, we've ignored Palantir. Here's NVIDIA on its way to 118. Let's see. We're $1 short right now on that one. And then what about this one? GameStop. Wait to play it properly. Off support. We're here every day until Friday, where I finally get to go over to Ancaster and coach up the #1 all-rep girls team in Ontario. So we're ready to go. We're ready to show up there.
Hate to be Ancaster.
And see what we could do. Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see how it works out. I do a lot of hyping, but we'll deliver on this one as we go. But we've yet to have a game because we got rained out on Sunday. We've had a couple practices, so we're excited for that. And then tomorrow, of course, Neil will be doing, the recap show. So we've divided it up. So where is the recap show? There it is right now. We got to get there. So Neil will be doing, I'll be doing Monday, Tuesday moving forward. Neil will be doing Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll rock, paper, scissors Friday.
I think we're
live on the show every week.
Okay, let's go with it. Well, it's kind of not that, but I thought we were rotating. We're just 1 week.
Oh yeah, we can rotate. I'm willing to do rock, paper, scissors, give the people something to look for.
Rock, paper, scissors is boring. They should be like, if we're gonna do that, it should be like guess the futures close within like Price is Right or something. Well, maybe not Price is Right.
Or we pick a stock. How about this? We pick a stock on Monday, and whatever one's higher on Thursday, the other guy does it.
Well, in all seriousness, I have to worry about my wife's like schedule too because
Yeah. I mean, I do it
like
all
when
for my
she
family.
works in the office, I gotta get home.
Well, we'll start doing that, and then if it works, it works.
Yeah,
Obviously,
essentially. But I like a challenge better than rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
I actually seriously dislike rock, paper, scissors to decide things. There's a
Why?
million more interesting ways to do it.
Why?
Because
Everyone has a chance.
it's a non-skill game. There's
that's the
there's like
point.
a world championships for it, and apparently there is a thing. I know Squid Game had that or whatever, but
Is there? I didn't know that either.
Yeah, it was Squid Game.
No, Squid Game didn't do right. Squid Game did.
No, the real Squid Game, like when they did a real version of Squid Game. They actually did rock, paper, scissors at the end. Like
Did
not
they?
the show, but the actual reality show Squid Game. I'm pretty sure at the end they
watched
had a
that
rock,
Squid
paper,
Game.
scissors challenge. But just one
Yeah,
quick
I
thing.
think you're right,
I'm pretty sure they did. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was cool, but I'd rather do something stock related if we can.
Yeah.
So it's a trade.
Yeah.
So we can do something like that.
Or we
I have
could
a
just
trail
rotate.
on
We could just
Apple,
rotate.
And I missed an opportunity on. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it was probably AMC again. But I'm going to defend not getting into the short at the high on AMC because GameStop was still pulling back when AMC made this move. So I'm not going to take this short again. I think this was a good level, but the GME was doing nothing except hold lower, and AMC for some reason was trying to break out. I don't like that. So we're not going to go back over to that one to the sell side till it starts making sense. I've said this before. It's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong.
Oh, shit.
So I don't know what the heck happened to Intel when I got out of this trade, but I was short at 73 and got out at 77, and it just broke $31. So whatever is going on, Intel just has decided to, I would say go ham, but I'm showing you the daily chart to show you how not ham this really is. So 31's breaking. I know it's green, and that looks really impressive here, and it is a good move to the upside, but it hasn't even broken this consolidation. So 31, a big level, 31.30 is the top of this range. If it takes 31.30, then it's going parabolic on INTC. What else we got going on? Coinbase is making some moves, but Apple loses 202, and I'm going to jump out of this trade and look for some kind of a, I was going to say dip buy, but usually the dip buy is up here. I should be out. That's kind of a hammer wick. I have my stop
Apple's
here
king.
underneath 202 because of this, but I should have just taken 03s. Usually I would. VWAP is not a thing, 200's a thing. Any dip, you're looking for a 200. I'm looking for a 200 buy, not a VWAP buy on Apple, just because that's the level. So really nothing else going on here. GameStop's kind of consolidating. What else was good? You said we should have been paying attention to Palantir. I 100% agree. I forgot about Palantir again. So yesterday was because CrowdStrike got added to the S&P 500 along with KKR and GoDaddy.
Yep.
GoDaddy?
GoDaddy, yeah. They had 5 or 6 straight quarters. I don't know. I can't believe they're in it instead of Palantir, but
We don't make the rules.
This just gives us more reason to buy Palantir, in my opinion.
I don't get it. So we liked the long yesterday when Palantir was down. Should have looked at the same longs. Like look at it, hold the higher low, break it out. The trend is your friend till the end when it bends, and it's still in an upward trend on the daily chart. So next time we'll be involved in Palantir. I would have looked at Robinhood for the long because that was super strong, but when all the crypto names were down, I said, haha, you're not going to trick me into wanting long on Robinhood, and we outthought ourselves. Buy the dip in Robinhood, apparently. It dips, wick bottom, yesterday's low, hold on a dime, right back up to the top. Hood is good, apparently.
Yeah, what's good in the hood? And again, not doing this to like throw shade, but there's been a lot of people that have liked Coinbase. And I know it's down 3% today. Obviously, nobody can control the price of crypto, okay? But again, if everybody we talk to, including Michael Noss, Brian Shannon, who will be on with me today, Danielle Shea, who's going to be on with you on Thursday there. I think it's Chris, maybe tomorrow. We'll find out who it is. But a lot of traders really like Coinbase, from what I've heard. So again, when we're talking about people liking crypto, Coinbase has been a good name. So I know there was a lot of traders thinking about this 260 break. So if you like the name, you want to sort of take advantage of days like today, right? Where you do get pullbacks in names that potentially you like. So down 3%, although you just indicated, not Mara, Robinhood, that's another crypto.
It's been a good day.
Yeah. So, but didn't it dip down and then retrace back up?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So like, if there's some good crypto names that potentially you like a Robinhood, which has crypto trading on it, which has a huge install base as well. I can't believe I'm using install base with Robinhood, even though that's probably not accurate. Customer base that have installed Robinhood on iOS and on Android. Good bottoms. Anyways, long story short, I think you could probably pick up some of these, as I know there's a lot of traders looking at the strength in crypto names, including Mara, and including some of these, not the chip names necessarily, but Square, PayPal. PayPal gets hit yesterday. Let's check in on how PayPal's surviving here. They got hit yesterday on Apple Pay. The fact that, see again, now down 3%. Bam, sometimes it's too
Dump it.
easy. Like we saw that yesterday. The fact that, I can't do it with Neil. The fact that Sharif and I can go out to lunch and just tap phones. Well, this reminds me of something else there. Tap phones, and all of a sudden...
I was already doing this because I knew exactly.
I know. And just transfer over to each other. Bang, there's $50. Thanks for grabbing the tab right there. That's pretty easy. I mean, it's obviously just as easy with Cash App and everything like that. But again, as the world becomes more and more iOS-based, you will see more people using
Let
that
today be the
right
day that we
now.
draw phones together. That's the line from Lord of the Rings.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, I like that. Draw phones together. Wow, by the way, Apple is now $9 in the money. Has there ever been a chance and an opportunity to hit the hot dog cannon? It is definitely there today. All right, it's 10:50. Let's go check out the US dollar because I'm sure Apple cares about it.
Nope.
DXY continuing its upward trajectory on the daily chart. This is our third straight green daily candle for the DXY, despite a lack of economic data or any salient catalysts for this metric coming in throughout the rest of the day. Tomorrow, though, we have CPI in the morning coming bright and early at 8:30 a.m. Then, of course, at 2 p.m., we will get the FOMC rate decision. At 2:30, we'll have comments from Fed Chair Jerome Powell. So definitely DXY going to be on watch heading into tomorrow. On Thursday as well, we have PPI. Friday, we're getting preliminary Michigan consumer sentiment data. So rest of the week, we will have tons of economic data to keep an eye on. Also worth noting here, we do have this kind of bounce off support here for the DXY bouncing off that 104 level. So technical is not a bad look here either for the USD as we head into what should be an exciting day for the dollar tomorrow, guys.
That's right. We forgot about tomorrow already.
Yeah, there's a thing happening tomorrow where nothing's going to happen, but we're going to pay a lot of attention to it. No,
there's something.
Come on, man. We're not going to get a rate action tomorrow. I think everyone knows we're pushing it down the line.
Where's my guy? There he is.
But a couple of things. 03 about to hit. I'm trailing underneath the half.
This is ridiculous.
If it gets to 03 half, I'm trailing to 03. I'm talking about Apple, obviously. Yeah. But the market's at the top and about to trying to hold green on the NASDAQ. I'm looking for things that are weak. Amazon's under VWAP, down
Look at
0.5%.
GME, baby.
So I think this could be, if the market's going to curl here, Amazon feels like something that is relatively safe. Safe is a queer word. It's a weird word to say when the market's at the highs, but it's relatively weak. If I short something out of big cap tech space, I think it's going to be Amazon. I was just scanning through to see what we could find, and Amazon's what I came up with. The other potential would be a chip name. AMD can't seem to hold VWAP. It's down 1%. Not really pushing as the market's pushing higher. It just wicked the top. So 159 short on AMD. I think if it makes this break here, 159.35, we would just get out of the trade. But I want the overfill. I want this, not overfill, I want the fills over VWAP, I should say. Like money fills, breaking VWAP, breaking 159, shorting into this level, and then if it breaks it, just get out. Amazon's too far away. I think I noticed this one too late. If you were paying attention to Amazon this entire time, you probably could have already been short that same move at VWAP thrice. Break VWAP fail, break VWAP fail, break VWAP fail. Down into an up market. I think the trend is your friend, and this one ain't up.
All right. So we did good getting out of AMD. I mean, you're just talking about AMD. Out of NVDA down there at 120. It's coming back to this 120, 150 area. So I do appreciate some of the talk there about shorting AMD maybe, but let's just see what winds up happening for me here on NVIDIA. As we're pennies away now. We're going to take a 30-cent hit if it does come back up to the upside. So stop order already in, trying not to be like stubborn about this. If the move wants to continue higher, I mean, Apple, like, I don't even, yeah, no, it's a good trade, but what I'm trying to get at is like, I don't understand, like up 5 and change percent, like this is now getting to be a really good trade, obviously, but we don't have a huge piece left. I wish we would have added to it. Neil punched long 200. That was a great call. Again, the whole point about it is like we're really starting to get, through some big, like we already took out 199.60. There's no other highs to look at. Apple is now gone on like what a candle. I mean, we came in here, we sang the praises of the stock all morning. It was up, it was flat or something to start the day. Where did we close yesterday?
93 change.
Yeah, 193 change. So when we came in here and was writing down the sticky note, long, we didn't know, I didn't know we have this kind of a day. Obviously, that's why we're in such a small piece, but there goes Apple. Good hold for everybody that was able to do it. Very, very tough trade, I think, to hold on to, considering we were running into some of those highs. But there's the break higher. Our
it's
last.
still going.
I know it's not stopping.
I just got trailed out.
Pay
and
for what
still
it's
going
worth
higher.
at this point, honestly.
Yeah, it's like I just trailed out of it and it's still going higher. Although, okay, maybe there was a bit of a sell there. 203.80 and then it just pulled right back into the quarters. That's where I'm out of this thing. It's like a blue sky setups. Some traders, if you have metrics like, oh, you're
got out 203.80?
No. It turned at 203.80.
Well, I was gonna say if you top picked.
No. I got out back here at like 20.
Yeah, it's still
quarters.
Great.
But yeah, I don't. If you have like some people have Fibonacci, some people use moving averages. Like whatever metric you use is what you want to do here. I just look at it as like that 10%. That 1% move, I should say. Like every percent on this, it goes like a couple of dollars. And when I saw it break that even, I'm like, okay, let's go step to step. And then I adjusted to those 50-cent levels. You heard me say if it breaks the 50, trail. If it breaks the 50, trail. So that's all I did. It broke the 50 and I trailed it again. And now we're getting out. I'm now flat, meaning I'm not in any positions about here. So there's been a lot of these small cap names that we've been frankly ignoring. And it's not, I know it's a trading show and things are going parabolic and you want to look at them, but on a day like today, where Apple's doing what it's doing, where NVIDIA has given you opportunities, GameStop was the one that made the big halt to the upside. The crypto names have been going absolutely crazy. I think you wanted to stay in the pocket and trade the names that were part of your plan. So I haven't looked at this BNED at all. Barnes & Noble, and like these other names, they're not really that exciting. And I feel as if you're not focused on the right stocks, you're going to get yourself in trouble. That said, if you were short Barnes & Noble, congratulations to you. I don't have a reason to do it. And I made a comment 2 weeks ago that if Barnes & Noble made a bounce off 10 cents, I would take a shot. This is it at 10 cents. It really, really tried, and it went a half a penny and then flushed. So I wouldn't have taken the trade because there's no size on this level 2, and there's just nothing happening. Feels like it's even halted now. I think it's in a halt state, Barnes & Noble, from what I can tell. So it hasn't really been holding any liquidity. 10 cents has meant absolutely nothing to this stock. Sometimes you get a bounce. I know Mullen did, but BNED is absolutely dying. I guess it's doing a reverse split, might be the news. I was about to check what the reason for the halt was. So if it's news-based and doing a split, that's what they have no choice. You have to. They got to do a reverse split or they're going to the OTC.
So I just want to give an update. So Sharif, how many napkins did I just give you there? 1, 2, 3.
You're not charging.
12 cents. Okay, so
they're free over here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if you want, if you want to, you can get up and get them. It's a 3-cent convenience charge. I mean, come on. Wow. Uber Eats is charging. You know what I mean?
Sharif.
Yeah, wow, Sharif. Wow, you're not trying to pay. Yeah, of course.
So then take the free ones.
See what I'm saying? See, he still wants to pay. I made it clear. All right, well, 12 cents. We'll just keep adding them up. We'll just keep adding them up. What's for lunch, though? All right. Look, Ramina's $10 a napkin.
I've never seen this before.
Not even 10 cents. Is it $10? Yeah. So 3 cents is pretty good discount. Right there. All right, well, this is, it's going to be an interesting lunch because the seasoning is really good. Whether or not you like the fish or not, I'm not sure. But we got lemon pepper. We got lemon pepper roasted salmon. right now with roasted, the word roasted being used a little bit here as Apple roasts the shorts. Lemon pepper apple roasted salmon, along with roasted apple mini potatoes and steamed apple vegetables as we watch out for Apple stock. I've put that stuff, so that's what's for lunch. Salmon, veggies, and potatoes. All right, good one there. All right, so my out is going to be 202.50. I just want to trail this $1. I mean, Neil sort of talked about that 203.80. Give it $1 would really be 202.80. I get it. But we'll just wait to there. That little bottom is 200. I mean, even just to give up 50 cents, we may be foolish at the end of the day to do that. But honestly, I mean, we're now 10. I'm not going to hit it 10 times, but we're $10 now in the money on Apple as it just continues to go higher. So it's been a pretty good day. The one that we're sort of letting sleep a little bit here, and as my kids would say, let it cook, Dad, or I'm cooking. It's like, get in the damn kitchen and start cooking then, if that's what you guys are doing, these kids of mine. Stop saying you're cooking, my kids. Like, you're not doing anything. You're eating. How about that, kids? You're eating and spending daddy's money.
Eating is positive.
Eating is great.
It's like you know.
Yeah.
Praising Zeke, but
they're eating, but they're not cooking. That's the point. All right, so let's wait to see what happens here. 25.50.
Someone got to cook.
Let GameStop cook. That is for sure. But my wife made lasagna basically from scratch yesterday, so that was really nice.
That is
shout out to the wife holding it down.
Homemade pasta is the way to go. I mean, once you've had it, like I'll tell you, like our friend at
never go back.
Homemade pasta, and Erin is like, she's like a
connoisseur.
I mean, we're talking about craft and like, which I can't stand.
When you go to Italy,
so she just loves that. She's very simplistic when it comes to that. The first time she ate like real spaghetti and meatballs done like homemade pasta, I'm like, oh, she might not like this. She'll get picky. She was dying. She's like, it's the greatest thing I've ever eaten.
Yeah, exactly.
Before we go to the midday, I just want to point out, I've actually never seen this halt code before on BNED. Someone said, I know they're doing a reverse split. That's the news this morning. The halt is H11, halt regulatory concern. So I've actually never seen that before. That doesn't seem like a good thing, but when it's not a volatility halt, there's who knows when it's going to open up. It's not 5 or 10 minutes. So an H11 code, I don't know if it's going to even open up today. So good luck to anyone. If you're in this one, good luck. And I wish anyone the best. I don't want the stock to go under. Obviously, it's not really going well. I'm out of Apple, and I think you want to be looking for opportunities to buy this if it does dip back into the 200 level, which is now VWAP. But it's time for Learn to Trade. Let's go on to the midday. It's been a fun morning, but it ain't done. We got the midday, we've got Adara back, and we'll be back at 2 o'clock. Go get them.
Yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly